Shut up and sit down.
All right.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How's it going?
How's it going? We're back
We have returned for more football.
as per usual.
Because the football never ends.
It never ends. I mean, it really doesn't, does it?
Just like Olivier Giroud's good looks, the football never ends.
Oh my God. He's going to be, dude, at age 50, he's going to look better than me. You know, better than you.
Right.
It's like everything that we've ever done,
Right.
we can't even compare the two, honestly.
100%. 100%. What are we
Olivier,
doing with our lives?
We love you. Incredible man.
Right.
By the way, okay, this is gonna sound a little weird, right? But I as you saw earlier, I had my tabs up, right? And I looked up Olivier Giroud, and then I saw his wife. Have you seen his wife?
No?
Dude, not what you expect.
Really?
Yeah, not what
Is
you
it like
expect.
childhood sweetheart? That you
I
like?
mean, maybe, I don't know,
Yeah.
but she's not up there with him.
Not in the same league?
Not in the same league. And I feel bad saying that. I really do, but yeah, they're not in the same league. He's playing Premier League. She's playing third tier, fourth tier.
Hey, look at
You know,
Ipswich.
she really is.
They got back-to-back promotions and made it to the Premier League.
I mean, yeah.
So-
They do have, I think they have like 4 or 5 kids.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so they have a lot.
Fair.
They have a lot of babies going on, dude. You know, good for him.
Bless him. Hey, I'm sure he's not complaining.
Definitely not. And if he is, you know, I'll take care of one of your kids.
Right,
You know? Just give me some money. Like, don't worry about it.
Well,
be
we've
fine.
got this. Yeah, contact Rose Ed. We'll look after them.
Yeah, man. So what's going on? How you been?
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah, I'm just so glad that football's back.
I know, right?
Like, after the summer of having the Euros, and even though I wasn't paying too much attention, but even having the Olympics, like, it got a little bit boring because nothing was happening.
It really-
so I'm just
yeah.
so bloody glad that football's back.
Yeah, I
really
agree.
am.
I agree.
So, and it's been quite a good weekend across all the leagues, really. Well, except for France, because nothing happens in
'Cause
the
it's
French
France.
league except for PSG winning,
Yeah.
inevitably. But yeah, we had some crazy games across all the leagues, except for the Bundesliga, because they don't start until this weekend.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're a bit behind.
Yeah, you know,
So-
I never was. I've never been a big fan of the French league
Yeah.
because you know, none of the teams have ever like been a. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's just me because there's you know they're like not really a known league or anything like that. But I'm not the biggest fan of it. you know?
100%. I mean, I've tried watching it sometimes when it's on, when I have nothing better to do, and it just doesn't hold water for me. Like, you'll occasionally get a great team pop up, like the Marseille team from a couple of years ago, or
Right.
something like that, but it's a one-hit wonder, and then all their players go,
A one hit
and no one cares. Like, and no one thinks about them ever again, you know? Like,
Yeah, which is
so-
interesting because you know, France has such a strong
Yeah, the national
team,
Yeah.
and they've kind of always had a strong
Well,
national team.
you mean the Senegalese national team plus Antoine Griezmann?
Thank you, thank you for pointing that out. Thank you for pointing that out because yes, this is very true. Absolutely, I do not like the fact that like the overwhelming majority of French players are not French.
Yeah,
they're French
100%.
because they were born there, first generation.
Yeah.
But their roots are not French in any way, shape, or form. Besides them speaking the language and being in France.
Yeah. When if you look at the team that Senegal could create, and it's not just Senegal, there are other African nations are available.
Yeah.
But if you look at the starting 11 that Senegal could create, if all the French players went back to Senegal, it's ridiculous. It's
Honestly,
ridiculous.
but then you get into the debate of like if they were still in Senegal,
Yeah.
would they be as good?
It's true. There's
You
a lot
know.
of what ifs going on there.
There's a lot of what ifs, but
It's just fun to hate on France.
I know it is. I've been there, and honestly, dude, it's just you know how there's the cliches of all the French. It's very true.
Yeah, there's stereotypes for a reason.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
I don't like. And I will say that I heard that specifically in Paris is where it happens the most. You know, people are very rude. Like they don't really give a shit about you, and that's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, just no like hospitality in any way, shape, or form.
No, and I've heard the same. Like the further you get, especially the closest to the coast, people are meant to be more friendly.
Right.
Which is funny. It's like the furthest you get away from France, the French people are friendlier. Like so.
Yeah, man. I mean, and then we live in Vegas, so
Yeah.
the hospitality here is, you know, it's a must. And
Absolutely.
I get it. A lot of people will say that people are fake because of it. That's fine. But also, you're English.
Yep.
People are pretty friendly there.
Yeah, especially up north in Manchester. You know,
Are they? Or are you just
It's-
saying that?
A little bit of bias, but no. There's so it's funny how you know how in America there's the North and South divide between like New York and Boston and that, and then the South. It's the reverse in England, because London is the financial mecca. It's where all the business people are, and then the North, that's where all the mills and the factories used to be. So it's like the reverse of that.
Right, I see what you're saying.
But in the same way, it's like where there's like the Southern hospitality. That's in Manchester and in Yorkshire and places like that. Even Newcastle, people from Newcastle are lovely. Bit rough around the edges, but they're lovely, Whereas I feel it when I'm on the train down to London. It's like this dark cloud is coming around me. The closer I get to London, it's like, oh my God, I'm getting there
I
again.
think you mean a darker cloud, because it's already
there
are already dark clouds out there.
Right. The rain is coming heavier.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Well, not the same thing, but I'm Mexican, and a lot of the people are extremely friendly.
Yeah.
They'll talk to you. You'll ask them a question, and you ask them for anything, and they literally have a saying where it's like, "I'm at your service."
Yeah.
Like, "Hi, how are you? I'm at your service. How can I help?" And it's very well known. But in France, that's not the. I shouldn't say that. In Paris, that's not the case.
Yeah, and that's, I think, speaking of Paris, that's why. And this is going to sound really cruel, but it almost warmed my heart how much Paris failed over the last couple of years. Because they brought in Messi, they brought in Neymar, they brought in Mbappé, they brought in Verratti,
you're
they brought in
talking about PSG.
Donnarumma.
Okay, yeah.
And couldn't get past the bloody quarterfinals in the Champions League.
Right.
And it's like, are you kidding me? How? You literally had a front three of Messi, Mbappé, and Neymar, and you couldn't make it past Manchester United.
And the rest of your squad was pretty stacked,
yeah,
too. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they still couldn't do it. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's like what I was asking you earlier. I was like, the question of the day is, what's more important, a really good manager or really good players?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a perfect example right there. Or what you were saying about CR7.
100%. Well, I'd be interested to find your take, because I already told you my take, and I'll repeat it. But tell me what do you think about that question?
Well, say what you told me earlier.
So my opinion is that a good manager is more important, because a good manager can turn mediocre players into a great unit that will win games. They can bring the mentality, they can bring the tactics that can turn Leicester from being on the verge of relegation to winning the Premier League. Whereas if you have a great player, there's only so much that they can do. The example I used with you was this weekend, Al Nassr, Cristiano Ronaldo scored, and then they conceded 4 times in the second half and lost 4-1. Cristiano Ronaldo scored, he did his job, but where the hell did everyone else go? They all fell asleep. So,
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree. I'm on the same boat. I think that a better manager is... a good manager is better than having great players.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, there's so many examples of that. And yeah, of course, you do have the occasional team that will do okay, and then they'll be able to win by having that one-star player.
Yeah.
But that's rare when you do get those. It's not... I feel like the manager will carries more than the player do.
100%.
Individual player.
100%. And I think you can do more with that star player, and sort of... So there was a joke that Alex Ferguson used to say where it was like, if you had Paul Scholes and 10 pieces of wood, he could have won the Champions League. So you could have a great player and 10 pieces of wood and have a great manager, and he will bring out that great player.
I feel like we should do like an episode of just like all the things that Ferguson has said, because it's amazing. He's just like, it's just like the people in the UK in general just have like this amazing way of speech that like they just are able to say something that like just it feels good.
Yeah,
you can visualize it and it makes sense, and that one makes a lot of sense, dude. He is right. Paul Scholes is that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that his picture is hung up in La Masia in Barcelona.
Really?
Because he was that, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, that's a little fun fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's been there since when?
Probably since the treble winning season in '99, I would have thought. I would have thought that would be like the breakout.
I wonder if they study him as like, somebody to...
I would have thought so, mostly because of the passing range. Like, not to say that the rest of his game wasn't great. I mean, his defending definitely left a lot to be desired. The amount of red cards he had, bless him. Bloody hell. But his range of passing was ridiculous. Like, there was a story, and I'm going off the top of my head, so I might not get this story right, but Cristiano Ronaldo was in training, and he was showing off, bit of flair, bit of this, scoring goals from the edge of the box. And then Paul Scholes took the ball, put it on the edge of the box, and hit a tree that was 150 yards away, and hit it like square on the trunk. And Cristiano Ronaldo spent the rest of the day trying to do it, and he couldn't do it.
Wow, I did not know that, man. That's super cool. I mean, I knew that Paul Scholes has always been just an incredible player, but I didn't know that there was like those little bits and pieces of a player that really tell you like, oh shit, like this guy is something else.
Well, one of my favorite stories, and obviously this is a great story for me because I'm a Manchester United fan.
Yeah.
But it was either Real Madrid or Inter Milan or someone came in to buy Paul Scholes, and he said to them, the only way that I'll play for you is if you buy Manchester United. He's like, I'm not leaving. That was like...
Isn't he Scottish? What is he?
He's English.
Oh, he's English.
Yeah. But he retired from international football very early because he was in that English team that had Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, Joe Cole, David Beckham, and they were playing him on the left wing. And he was like, why the fuck am I playing on the left wing? I'm a central midfielder. But they were trying to get all of them in the same team.
Come on.
Yeah, that's why David Beckham was a right winger. He's not a right winger. He's a central attacking midfielder. What are you doing?
Yeah.
He's David Beckham, so it didn't make any difference. But so
I didn't know. How old was he when he retired from international?
It was either the 02 World Cup or the 04 Euros.
Oh shit! So he wasn't even old at all in soccer terms.
Mid to late 20s, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he was like 7 in dog years.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta revisit now. I feel like I have to watch some Paul Scholes videos.
You should. Some of the goals he scored. There's a particular one. It's the 2008 Champions League semi-final. Manchester United versus Barcelona at Old Trafford. So the first leg finished 0-0. The second leg, it's about the 37th minute, something like that. And ball comes out to him from about 35 yards out, and he just rockets it in the top left-hand corner. Just absolutely wellies it, and no one can get anywhere near it.
The dude had incredible accuracy with his passing.
He had a rocket on his boot.
I was watching De Bruyne and some like Martin Odegaard videos, and it's incredible to see how like they make passing look like it's just like you're like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
And then you go out and you like, you're like 3-4 feet away from like a cone, and you try to hit it, and you're like, you can't hit it. And at least me, I'm talking about me here. And then Paul Scholes is another one where he was doing long range passes, and it's like you look at them and they're like, oh, like I could do that. It looks easy.
This is just my bread and butter. I do this every day.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people that are masters at their craft of anything, like music, if you make shoes, if you're a locksmith, whatever the hell it is that people are doing that they're good at, you look at them and they do it, and you're like, oh, you could do that. But then you realize that, oh, this is years upon years upon years of nothing but like repetition and repetition on trying to figure out how to get it down to that.
Well, it's like Bruce Lee said, I do not fear the man who practices 10,000 punches once. I fear the man that practices one punch 10,000 times.
Absolutely. Great quote, dude.
Yeah.
Shout out Bruce Lee, man.
Hell yeah.
You think if Bruce Lee was a soccer player, what position do you think he'd be?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because I think he was like 5'6", 5'7".
Because it's tough, because my first instinct was to say defensive. But at the same time, he's got that amount of flair that I think he could have played.
Yeah.
So I would say a box-to-box midfielder.
Okay, because he got that stamina, you think?
Like Zidane or Iniesta or someone like that. The reason I say Iniesta, and I'm not the biggest fan of Iniesta, but it's because of the size.
Right.
He's very similar height to that sort of player. And I think he would have enough about him to get back and defend, but his stamina would have meant he could have got forward, and he has that amount of flair and all the kicks he could do, be a bit of a Zlatan,
I personally think that he would be like a great number 10 or like an enganche, because I feel like, imagine him, right, rocketing into the air, doing some kind of crazy somersault kick
Yeah.
and just scoring these crazy goals,
It'd be
man.
like bloody Shaolin soccer in real life.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh my God, that'd be amazing. That'd be so cool. Like I just want to take Bruce Lee, make him a soccer player, but like
Yeah.
keep all of his skills that he has as a martial artist.
Yeah.
And just do like a Zlatan shit.
Yeah,
But like
right.
times 10.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that'd be incredible. Somebody should edit that.
Right?
I want to see what that would be like. Did you ever watch or hear of a show called I forgot, Captain Tsubasa? I think that's what it's called in English.
I don't think so.
So it's this animated Japanese show that is about this little kid who becomes a soccer player, and like, dude, they talk about Ronaldinho, they talk about Ronaldo, they talk about Rivaldo in like this show. And when I was a kid and I lived in Mexico,
yeah.
like this show was on, and there is called Super Campeones, which means like super champions.
Okay.
And they were doing some crazy shit like that.
Really?
Like they would like literally, dude, they would try to kick the ball, right? And they would be like, you know, anime, right? Like
Yeah.
they're mid into them doing some kind of a crazy action, and they pause the whole scene, and the guy's like thinking through his head.
Yeah.
So anyways, they would do that, and he would go like, okay, here, I'm about to like release, you know, my ultimate attack. And then literally like a flaming dragon would come out of his foot, and like he would kick the ball, and the dragon would follow the ball into the net. And it was like the coolest, craziest fucking thing you've ever seen.
That sounds amazing.
It was amazing, dude. And then also there was these twins that they would both jump into the air, right?
Uh-huh.
And then they would both like headbutt the they would headbutt the ball into the net, and they would call it like an eagle attack or some shit like that. Dude, it's incredible, man. It's such a good show.
That sounds amazing. Does it have the Dragon Ball Z curse where like 3 seconds goes on for like 6 episodes?
I don't
I
remember.
can just imagine them setting up for a kick, and
Yeah.
it's like next time on.
Actually, now I do remember. It wasn't with the kicks. You know what it was?
Uh-huh.
It was them talking to themselves while they were running.
Okay.
Dude, I'm like, you could have fucking ran like a marathon. And it's literally, you know, the action shot is just him going like this. And then you see like the field just go like that. And it's just, you know, yeah, it has like a lot of pacing issues and stuff. You know, it takes forever.
Typical anime.
Yeah, and then the funniest part is, right, like they're running for like a marathon, right?
Yeah.
And then they cut to them like showing where they are in the field. They're
Yeah.
barely in midfield. You're like, what the fuck?
And it hasn't even made it.
Yeah. I'm like, he's not even close for a fucking goal. But yeah, it's a great show. It's from like, I think it's like a late 80s, early 90s type of show. So it's
Nice.
really like, you know, old school.
Yeah.
But the show is really cool, man.
Well, that's the beauty with like anime and cartoons and stuff. The animation usually stacks up,
Oh yeah.
and so it
Yeah.
probably wouldn't even matter.
No, it
It'd probably
just-
make it better and more endearing in a way.
Honestly, yeah, it really does. And I hope and I wish that there might be like a way to like look at the episodes on like
Oh, yeah.
a website where it's like take away all the filler
Yeah.
and just like watch the main story.
Yeah.
Because if that was the case, I would do it.
Yeah.
Because
Hell yeah.
it's a great story. It follows him from like the age of 10 till he goes into the national team, and like I think he wins the World Cup or some shit like that.
Oh my God.
With Japan. So yeah, it's like a super long story.
So it's like taking the career mode from FIFA and putting it into a cartoon.
literally, that's what it is. That's what it is, dude.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So if you ever have some free time that you have nothing else to do,
Yeah.
give it a go.
Or maybe when I'm playing FIFA or FC 25 as we are now, just have it on in the background.
Yeah. I mean, the first like 10, 20 episodes, you're not going to miss much. It's like, it's very kind of boring, honestly,
Yeah.
because they're following like this little 10-year-old kid.
Yeah.
You know, and then I do think that in the middle of like between the episode of 1 and 10, I'm talking about this way too much.
Sorry.
But I'm pretty sure that Ronaldo, or is it Ronaldo? Some like superstar Brazilian is in the show. Obviously not the actual person,
Yeah,
but just
yeah,
like
yeah.
the you know, the guy.
Yeah.
And then so the little kid gets inspired and he's like, oh, I want to be like whoever. You know, so anyways, yeah.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it's a show, man. It's
Hell
a show
yeah.
to watch.
Well, that's the sort of that's how football felt like when we were a kid. Was
Yeah.
like you see this incredible goal, like you see Zlatan, you know, score a 40-yard scissor kick against England for Sweden, and if you're 12 at the time, it's like, oh my God.
Absolutely.
Just blows your mind.
Absolutely, without a doubt. And I feel like there was a lot more of that before, like way back in the day than now.
Yeah.
Everybody's a little bit more like, like contained. Nobody's really doing scissor kicks and like, what is it called in English?
Bicycle kick.
Bicycle kicks. Or like even dude, like in Mexican soccer, one of the biggest things, like Chicharito did this a lot. He would literally fly into the ball with his head, like like
a diving header.
A diving header, yeah. It was. There's all these like things that you don't really see that a lot.
Yeah. Well, I think, and we touched on this either last episode or the episode before, where like, so back in the day, each team would have a star player. Unless you were Real Madrid, who had all the star players. But, like, Manchester United would have Cantona and Newcastle would have Alan Shearer. And, like, each team would have a standout player. Whereas now, it's like, yeah, you've got a standout player, but it's like, oh, look, Watford's got Troy Deeney. It's like, sorry, Troy Deeney, but you're not Mbappe. I'm not that scared of you. We played City last week. I'm more scared of Haaland than I am of fucking Troy Deeney, so it's a different level. And you see that with, like, the FA Cup and the League Cup. Like, when Manchester United played, oh, God, who was it? Ross County last year. And they were talking about this striker. And no disrespect to him, because Ross County actually gave us a really hard run for our money for some bloody reason. But they were talking about him as if he'd, like, won 6 World Cups. And it was like, he's an accountant from bloody Wales. What are you talking about? It was literally one of those teams where they didn't have their national team. They had, like, professions.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
like, yeah. They're
like
making
Marino.
They're making like $30 a game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they were talking about this guy like he was the next coming of Jesus.
Amazing.
And it's like, okay, if that was the case, he would have been picked up by Barcelona or Real Madrid by now. Or Chelsea, because they need more bloody transfers.
Yeah.
Like, so, but that's how it used to be back in the day, where it's like, oh, you're playing Southampton, look out for Matt Letizia.
Right. Like that one guy.
That one guy, And no disrespect to the other players, because they were professionals, but not in the same way that now it's like play Manchester United, you have to watch out for Højlund, you have to watch out for Garnacho, you have to watch out for Diallo. And if those three don't score, Bruno Fernandes is standing behind them. Or like Arsenal, if Saka doesn't score, you've got to worry about Odegaard. And if Odegaard doesn't score, Jorginho might pop up with a cheeky goal every now and again.
Or Zinchenko, which scored last weekend, which is like, I think that was like his first goal for Arsenal since he joined. Since he joined from Manchester City.
That's a very good question.
It might even be his only goal in the Premier League. I'm not sure. I might just be making shit up, but that's what I'm thinking.
I don't want to say, but Zinchenko didn't score last week, so I think he might be making it up.
Really? Oh, you know what it was? He scored in the.
Was it in the friendly?
Yes, it was in the friendly. It was it was in preseason.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, it was preseason. He scored against.
He scored against Leverkusen.
That's what it was.
You went totally crazy.
Yeah. Damn it! He's too good.
But since we're on the topic of Arsenal, transition. So Arsenal against Wolves, what do you think?
Dude, I think it's gonna be.
Well, what did you think of the game last weekend? What did you think? How do you think Arsenal played?
Yeah, I think they played. I think they played really well until like the second half.
Yeah,
and it was. I only say that because like it's kind of scary to see like when you obviously it's like the team that you follow where it's like when they're not in control, you're like,
yeah,
like what's going on, like what's gonna happen?
We're gonna fuck this up.
Yeah, but that being said, it's also on Wolves. Like Wolf was like they were really good.
Yeah,
they did a really good job of retaining the ball and like figuring out where the little nooks and crannies of the Arsenal team was.
Yeah,
where they could attack. So they did a great job. I think Arsenal looked great. I do think that they Bukayo, I feel like, dude, like the guy I feel like he needs to be like cryo chambered for a couple weeks because like he's just been going since like, he was like 17. Right. It's insane. Like I don't know. I feel like he's gonna break down anytime soon.
Yeah,
but that just might be like my, my like worst case scenario that's gonna happen to him. But yeah, if it wasn't for Bukayo, he wouldn't have got that assist or his own goal.
100%. Saka ran the show that game for sure. Yeah. I think I agree with you. I think Arsenal played really well. That first half, they were all over Wolves. Wolves barely even had a chance to get out of their own half.
I think it was like
So-
over 70% possession for the
Something like
first
that,
half
yeah.
or something like that.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was a ridiculous amount. And then the second half started, and Arsenal were just like, "What's going on? Who am I? Who
They
are
switched
you?"
off. Yeah.
So-
I mean,
Well, here's the question: is it Arsenal switching off, or is it Wolves coming out to fight?
exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Because I recently was listening to I forgot what it was. I think it was like a podcast or some kind of a YouTube show
Yeah.
or whatever, and they were talking about how the same old people are like they're like, oh, my team sucks now.
Yeah.
Or, oh, I know what it was. It was they were talking about Chelsea.
Yep.
They were talking about Chelsea, right?
Yep.
And it's like, oh, they look like shit. They're not playing well, blah blah blah. And then they won. I think today actually they won 2-0.
Oh yeah, in the Europa League qualifiers,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
right. And so there's all these people that are like, yeah, we're not gonna be doing shit in the Premier League. We're probably gonna get relegated. And it's like, dude, first of all, you guys got a brand new manager. There's like 1,000 new players.
Yeah.
There's,
Just jumping on that, did you see there was a graph on Sky Sports, and it was like the amount of time that's left on players' contracts for the league, and it's like all of the team's players, and then Chelsea just goes round the corner
God.
because they signed all these players to like 2029, 2031, 2032. Like even Joao Felix, I'm pretty sure they signed him
Yeah.
until about 2050.
Right.
Like they've got so many players for such long contracts, it's ridiculous. Like
that's crazy. What do you
Yeah.
think? Like, what is that? Why do they do that?
Because Ted Bowley's a lunatic and he just wanted to buy everyone in the world.
Was it like I feel like they were doing that before, no? Or is that something new?
That's something new. So Chelsea always bought, but in a similar way to how Manchester United bought or Liverpool bought. They didn't go overboard per se.
Yeah.
You might get 6 players in a transfer window, but if you need those amount of players, that's fine. But like Ted Bowley came in the January that he came in, and they bought like 20 players. And then in the summer they bought another 20 players, and then the following January they bought another 20 players, and it's like, how have you still got this amount of room to fit these players in the
that's-
training facility?
That's way too much.
Like they must be able to make 6 or 7 squads out of the amount of players they've got, and that's not
Absolutely.
even dipping into the academy.
yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. And then you've got the likes of Lukaku, Sterling, and there's someone else who are training with the like under 21s. They've been completely ostracized. And then they even got rid of Conor Gallagher. They finally got rid of him to Atletico
Right.
Madrid.
Atleti, yeah.
So, but did you see the Chelsea manager's press conference today, where he was basically just like, "Who are you to call us shit? Give us time. We've got all these new players." Like trying to defend himself. Which, to be fair, they played against Manchester City, and
Yeah.
they actually played quite well. I don't know if you watched that game.
Yeah. I didn't watch the game, but I watched the extended highlights.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Chelsea were in it.
yeah.
It wasn't like City walked all over them. Like they were lucky to get that goal in the first half, and then Chelsea switched off for 30 seconds and they scored the second goal. So
Yeah, we kind of talked about this a little bit in terms of like, it's always those little fine margins, man. It's like
absolutely,
you can have like the possession you can have 99% of the possession,
Yeah.
not score a goal,
Yep.
get countered on,
Yep.
the 2 times that the team has it and you lose,
Yep.
and you're playing amazing, and they're just defending and counterattacking.
And 2 perfect examples of that, both in the Champions League. Chelsea against actually both of them are against Barcelona as well. Chelsea against Barcelona in
Yeah.
the 2012 Champions League, where Barcelona had like 50 shots, 35 of them on target. Petr Cech had the game of his life until the final, and Chelsea had 2 chances. Ramirez scored, and then Fernando Torres scored. The other one, also against Barcelona, this was at the Camp Nou, Celtic. Barcelona had 82% of the possession. Celtic had 2 shots, both of them on target, and they won 2-1
Amazing.
at the Camp Nou.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter how much possession you have.
Yeah, it really doesn't. I mean, unless you're Pep or one of those Arnold Slot. Is it Slot?
Arnie Slot? Yeah.
Slot?
Yeah. Or
It's
Sloot.
really hard for me with my accent to not say like sloot or slut, or
Well,
slut.
It's Dutch, so it could be Sloot. I don't know.
I'm gonna say change it.
Yep.
I'm gonna say let's change that.
Let's just call him Arnie for now.
Arnie. Yeah, you're right. I should just call him Arnie. But yeah, it's unfortunate because have all these people talking shit about Chelsea and all, and I get it, right? Because it's easy to shit on Chelsea because they were at one point pretty good. So I understand that, and also because they're Chelsea.
Yeah. It's fun to shit on Chelsea. It's like me talking shit about France earlier. It's fun.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But they really did play pretty well. I mean, I feel like there wasn't anything to be like, oh yeah, Chelsea's just not it. Yeah. This is not in. The players weren't playing well. Like, no, it's not that. It's not that. It's just
because I've seen the Chelsea under Graham Potter.
Yes,
they were terrible.
Yeah,
or the Chelsea
you could clearly see that there was they weren't playing well.
No, there was no communication. There was no teamwork.
Yep.
Like, there was nothing going on. It was very disjointed. And I don't think that was the case this time. And City had a couple of moments where they were in trouble. Like, I don't know what is going on with Edison. He has completely fallen apart. Like, in the Charity Shield, he gave us a goal. And then against Chelsea should have had about 6 or 7 goals thanks to Edison. He was all over the place.
Yeah, I've noticed. I don't know if you noticed this, that like somehow top goalkeepers, especially for teams that have a lot of possession-based games.
Yeah.
For some reason, they like just have like a great season or a great half of a season, and then they just fucking shit all over themselves.
Yeah.
Just shit their pants, dude.
Yeah.
Like, take your pants off, replace them because you shit your pants.
Yeah.
That type of shit. It's like, why are you like? What's Allison?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, dude is a great keeper, but when it comes to the handling the ball and like having possession of the ball, I'm always like, dude, you're gonna fuck up. And I'm not even a Liverpool fan, and I'm like freaking out about it.
Well, it's like, I remember perfect example. So speaking of City, when they got Bravo, the Chilean goalkeeper, after he had that great World Cup, and they were playing, I want to say it was Everton because it was Lukaku. It was either Everton or West Brom, and it was at the Etihad. And Bravo is meant to be this great ball-playing goalkeeper. They bought him specifically so they could play out of the back. And 4 times, Lukaku stole the ball off him and put it in the back of the net, and they won 4-0. Everton winning 4-0 at City, that's something that happened in the 80s. That's not something that happened here.
What year was this?
This was like 2015, 2016. It wasn't that long ago.
Oh, my God.
It was just before the Pep era, because I think it was Mancini. Yeah. Not Mancini. Who's the one who looks like a grandma? Yeah, Pellegrini.
Yeah, Pellegrini.
I think it was when he started.
They're too similar.
They're too Mancini, Pellegrini. Like, come on, what are you doing? I think it was when he was there, and they were trying to do this Pep-style possession football. But because Pep wasn't there, and because they also didn't have the players at the time, Bravo just kept passing it to Lukaku, and Lukaku just kept putting it in the back of the net. It was awful.
Speaking about this, I think this would be a really cool thing to bring up. So, I don't know his name, but I know you know who I'm talking about, because it's like he's a very famous goalkeeper.
Okay.
He's like one guy who had like the long curly hair that he did like the scorpion kick.
Oh, Rene Higuita.
Yes. Okay, so Rene Higuita, is he?
He's Colombian.
He's Colombian.
Yeah.
So he was like the guy who basically introduced us to like, a goalkeeper can just like literally run up the field and score a goal if you're that good, right?
He was Neuer before Neuer.
Exactly. And I think we spoke about him actually. Now that you said that you triggered a memory. But besides him, there was this really good Mexican goalkeeper. His name was Campos.
Oh, I was going to say the one who scored the free kicks. Do you know about him?
What's his name?
I want to say his name's Rogerio Ceni, but he has like 117 goals.
But is he Mexican?
I want to say he's Mexican. Let me look it up. Just
live research. While you look it up, I'm going to talk about this Mexican guy. His name is Jorge Campos. He was not on the same level as what was his last name? Magita?
Oh, Rene Higuita?
Higuita. I want to say Vegeta, like Dragon Ball Z.
His power was over 9,000.
But I wish that we had players like that, or I wish that they were in like modern day right now type of goalkeepers, because then we would really see like, I could totally see like a Jorge Campos or a Higuita come up as like the center forward or like a center back, and just leave the goal completely open as like a third man, or as like an extra man to have more people into the field. You know,
it's like, speaking of Jorge Campos, so he's on FIFA. He's one of the heroes.
Yeah.
Do you know what his alternate position is as a goalkeeper?
Is it striker?
Striker.
Oh, yeah, of course. Amazing.
So you can play him up front if you want to.
He's incredible, man. I wish that we had, that we had them now.
Well, it's like, even so, like at the late 90s, early 2000s, you had like Peter Schmeichel, who scored like 8 or 9 goals. You had Oliver Kahn, who was just a fucking lunatic. Like, he's crazy, all over the place, who would come up for corners. They don't do that anymore.
They don't.
It's so like... You'll see them, they're like, should I? Should I go? And the manager's like, no, don't you dare. Don't you dare. And then you've got, like, Neuer in the 2014 World Cup. Do you remember when they played... I want to say it was Switzerland, but I could be getting it mixed up. And it's just Neuer and the striker in Germany's half. Mm-hmm. And Neuer runs about 30 yards to go and tackle the striker. Tackles him, gets up and kicks the ball up the other end of the pitch. It's crazy. And it's like, what are you doing? You're the goalkeeper.
That's crazy, dude.
But no one else would do that. And I bring that up because he just announced his international retirement.
Yeah.
So it's appropriate to bring up
what is
the
he?
crazy...
He's like 38, 37?
37, 38, yeah. So I think he'll continue at Bayern for another couple of years. Maybe another year, but...
Yeah, he's for a goalkeeper. He's still basically, I guess, in the prime of his years.
Yeah. Well, like Buffon.
No, actually, that's already pretty old for a goalkeeper, right?
With a goalkeeper, though, like your prime is different because, like, as a goalkeeper, you can rely on intuition a lot more, and you don't have to be. And I don't mean this awfully, but you don't need to be as physical. Yeah. As physically fit.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're running the length of
goalkeepers are basically
like
not soccer players. They're a whole different breed.
They're lunatics, is what they are.
Yeah, they're a whole different breed. Yeah.
So, but like Buffon retired when he was 45. Like,
right.
I remember there was a goalkeeper, speaking of Colombia, and he came on in the World Cup 2010, 2014. It was Mondragon. And they brought him on just so they could break the record for the oldest player of the World Cup.
Which was what?
It was 41 and a half.
Oh, my God.
And
that's not even...
I think that was until Buffon.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, because this was before
Buffon was shitting on this guy, dude.
I think this was when Buffon was still a young man at like 36. So... What
do you think the prime years of a goalkeeper are? Like, when do they hit like their prime, right?
Normally, or it used to be, they'd hit it at like 30. Because that was when you've got that experience, but you're still physically fit.
Yeah.
However, it's weird because you've got like Donnarumma has been playing for 8 years now, and he's about 12. You've got like Ter Stegen, who's still like 23, and he's been Barcelona's number one for about 6 years.
Wait, Ter Stegen is still pretty young. Yeah.
Onana for United, he's only about 25, and he's been going forever.
Onana was at Milan, right?
He was at
AC Milan or Inter?
Inter. And before that, he was at Ajax.
Ajax, that's right.
And, he's only young. I was going to say Jordan Pickford, but he's about 50 now. You've got all these young goalkeepers that are starting out a lot younger, because goalkeepers used to not be given the chance, straight from the academy.
No.
So you wouldn't hear about them until they were 28, 29.
Yeah, you really wouldn't.
So I think the prime is changing, but I think historically... the prime would be sort of late 20s to early 30s, like 28 to say 35.
That makes sense, yeah.
So
yeah, I was thinking about like, you go back like early 2000s, and you look at like all the ages for the Italian squads.
Oh, God.
For in terms of goalkeepers, dude, like they were all like above 33.
Yeah,
like all of them, and you say what the fuck? They're all like. That's fine, they're all like 30s and up, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that nowadays, you don't really see that a lot.
When even like the Inter Milan side that won the Champions League, they were all about 35.
All of them.
Like Julio Cesar was about 40. Who? Maicon was about 50. Lucio again.
Yeah.
I mean, even Zlatan was getting to that point where he was about 38.
Yeah.
Ronaldinho, no, that's AC Milan. Eto'o. He was getting up there.
He was almost 30.
Yeah.
Diego Milito was like 28.
Yeah.
Pandev was like 28 also.
Yeah. So like the youngest player on the team was like 27, 28.
The youngest player on the team was Balotelli.
Oh, Jesus
He was like 18, I think.
Mr. Why Always Me.
Yeah.
Have
he
you
was
heard that story
18 or 19 or something like that.
Him and Jose Mourinho.
About the red card? Yeah, dude.
So funny.
Please talk about it because it's hilarious.
Jose Mourinho was doing this interview and he was talking about his time at Inter Milan. And they get to halftime and 14 minutes out of the 15 minutes he's talking to Mario Balotelli because Mario Balotelli's got a yellow card. Yeah. He's like, whatever you do, don't get sent off because I don't have another striker. Whatever you do, it doesn't matter if someone shouts at you. It doesn't matter if someone pushes you. Just don't retaliate. Just don't react. Just don't do anything, please. and they go back out, and before the 46th minute, he gets sent off.
Yeah, like within a minute of them going out,
Literally,
he does a tackle
like
and it just
43 seconds or something like that. It's ridiculous. Like,
And I think there's also we can't look it up now, but we should look it up, and if you can look it up at home. The reaction of Mourinho when this happens is hilarious. It's like the funniest shit you'll ever see.
That and have you ever seen the reaction of Mancini when they're in pre-season for City and Balotelli's one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and instead of shooting, he tries to do a spin, and he goes out for a goal kick, and Mancini looks like someone just punched his wife.
Dude, yeah.
And the first thing he does is turn to his assistant and get him the fuck off the pitch. Get him off the pitch, and he gets substituted immediately.
Man, what a guy, Balotelli, man. I think one of the last like soccer players to have like a personality.
Yeah.
Besides Vardy. I feel like a really strong personality like that.
Speaking of Jamie Vardy, we've got to talk about Tottenham against Leicester.
Oh, yes.
Because Jamie Vardy had his party.
Dude, he did.
And that goal was a great goal.
Yeah.
Did you see at half-time? So, not like they're coming up from half-time.
Yeah.
And he's in the tunnel, and he's just pounding a Red Bull.
Oh, my God.
Just absolutely downing this Red Bull. And throws it on the pitch and runs to the halfway line.
The guy is incredible, man.
He's a monster.
He's just...
Yeah.
He seems like somebody I want to hang out. Like,
right.
It's like, dude, hey, I had some pizza. Come over. We'll play some Mario Kart.
Absolutely.
Type of personality,
100%.
you know? Yeah.
And did you see his celebration? I don't know if it was for the goal or at the end of the game, but the Spurs fans were giving him shit. So he held up and he was like 1-0 because he has one more Premier League trophy than any of them.
Dude, I mean, like, just
proper shithousery.
I love
finest.
it. I love it.
Like,
yeah, he was getting subbed off.
Yeah,
and then he was he pointed at his shirt that had like the Premier League logo, and he goes, you know, he points up his finger. He's saying, "I have one."
Yeah.
And you guys have 0.
Yep.
Like just there's like a young Tottenham player just staring at him.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of like, huh? Yeah. And it's like, dude, you don't get it.
You don't get it.
You don't fucking get it, man.
Yeah.
You've been a rich boy your whole time.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, I don't know who the hell he was.
Who are you?
But Vardy is like, at age 20, 23, 24, he was in the fucking slumps.
Yeah.
You know, playing for 30 pounds a week or whatever the case was.
He was a steel worker in a factory.
Yeah, it's like the dude is, you know, he's a real down-to-earth guy.
Real OG.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so, like, it really took me back to 2015, having Jamie Vardy score that goal. It was like, yes. And I'm not a Leicester fan, but I think everyone is deep down a Leicester fan because of that season.
Absolutely.
And it's one of those, and no disrespect to Tottenham, like, I love Ange, like, I don't
me too.
have a problem with Tottenham. I'm sure you have more of a problem because you're an Arsenal fan.
I really don't.
But, like, I have no problem with Tottenham. It's just, there's something about Leicester, and there's something specifically about Jamie Vardy. You can't not hate them, you know, like, it really did my heart. And the fact that they nearly won as well. Like, they had a couple of opportunities after that goal to seal it.
Yeah.
That would have made my Monday. That really would have made my Monday.
Who's their manager?
Oh, Steve Cooper, I think. But
for Leicester, right?
I could be getting that wrong because there were a couple of other teams that I had to look up the managers because I didn't know who they were.
Yeah, I forgot who their manager was.
Steve Cooper.
Yeah.
So, if you don't know who Steve Cooper is, so he was at Swansea and then he was at Nottingham Forest. So if you watch Nottingham Forest the season that they came up, that was Steve Cooper.
Right.
And then now
Swansea is in the second division now, right?
They're in. Let's have a look. They're at least the second division, if not the third.
By the way, I do want to talk about rivalries. That's a hard word for me to say. There's multiple words that I have difficulty saying. Rivalries is one of them. The other one is I had to really practice this in the mirror, no joke. I would have to say the word in the mirror just to say it right. It was the word quarter.
Okay. Fair.
I couldn't say quarter because you know how the American R.
Yeah.
You know,
quarter.
see, like even when you say it, right? It's still like very British, but here people say quarter.
Yeah.
And I had the most difficult time with that shit.
Well, it's hard for me to say because being English, we pronounce the T in that.
So you say
quarter.
ter, yeah.
So trying to
T-A,
say
yeah.
it as a D is so
Dude,
hard.
yeah, this should change that shit. Come on.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that. So, I'm American in terms of like,
Yeah.
I was born here and I've lived my whole life here, and so I never really got like that whole like, hate Tottenham feeling. Just because I don't get it in terms of
That's
like
fair.
I'm an Arsenal fan and I know that the rivalry is Tottenham and all that, but for me there's just another team. There's just another Blackburn Rovers as they were playing there, another
Yeah.
fucking Manchester City. Like it's just another team we got to beat.
Don't matter.
So
Yeah.
I don't really care for it. And I do think that I like the fact that Mourinho was there. So I'm a big Mourinho fan, as you know.
Yep.
And Mourinho was there, and I like that he was there because I was able to actually like go into their team
Yeah.
and being like, oh, they actually have really good players.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they got to the Champions League.
Yep.
And I was a big fan of what the players that Mourinho brought in.
And did you watch the See It series? What is it? This is Tottenham or
Yes.
whatever it was? Yeah.
Yes. And I loved it. I thought it was really interesting to like take a look at all those, behind the scenes, you never get to see
Yeah.
that. And of course, like they're
Absolutely.
being filmed, so you don't really know if they're like that
Yeah.
or not,
Although there were some scenes where it's like, that is peak Mourinho, even if he's being
Absolutely,
filmed.
yeah.
That is peak Mourinho. Like,
Yeah, he's a fucking character, man. I fucking love him.
yeah.
God, I hope that he stays managing for another 15 years.
Yeah.
I really do.
Absolutely.
Pull a Ferguson like everybody else.
Just keeps on going. Yeah.
Keeps on going, man. Because he's 61 now or something like that.
Well, that's the thing. He could keep on going.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to put this on him, but like, Ferguson was, 78 when he retired? Arsene Wenger was about 112. Like,
Wait, was Ferguson 78 really?
he was either 78 or 80. I can't remember. It was one of the two.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
are you serious? You're blowing
Yeah.
my mind
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
I know Arsene was older too, but I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Roy Hodgson, when he retired last season, he was 76.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. Even if he went for another 10 years,
He could
he's
do
70.
it. He could do it.
I think he could do that.
Yeah,
easily.
he could do it.
Especially because, like, if he leaves Fenerbahce and goes to, like, I don't know, I could see him doing well in the Dutch league or something like that.
Yeah.
Imagine if he became the national team manager for Portugal. Imagine how the World Cup would be
Everybody
if
ta- yeah.
Mourinho's there.
Everybody
would be-
talks about that.
Oh my god, it would
Yeah.
be a classic instantly. Oh my god, it would be such a clusterfuck, but it'd be amazing.
It'd be amazing, dude. Yeah, it's everybody talks about how like Mourinho has the mentality for like knockout stages, knockout
100%.
type of football. Yeah.
100%. And you can see that with what he did with Porto, Chelsea, and Inter Milan. Mm-hmm. Real Madrid to a certain extent, but like the Champions
Roma
League,
as
or
well.
United with the Europa League. Like,
Yeah.
you can see that with the way that he
Yeah,
he
Roma.
manages
He
those
did that with
games.
Roma. He
Yeah.
did that with United.
Yep.
He did that even with Tottenham. He just
Yep.
didn't even get to play the final,
Yep.
which is
Oh,
still blows my mind, and that's fine. Daniel
Yeah.
Levy, you're an idiot.
yep.
But yeah, I'm actually a fan of a lot of the Tottenham like players.
Yeah.
Like I really liked which unfortunately they got rid of him as Dembele.
Oh yeah.
I thought
Yep.
Dembele was really good.
Yep.
I thought Lo Celso was also a really good player. I thought that Højbjerg.
Højbjerg. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
they got him from Wolves, I
Yep.
think.
That
I thought
sounds
he
about
was
right.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Tengang, what was his name? Tanganga? Tanganga?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I think it is
Is it
Tanganga. Something like
Tanganga,
that.
yeah. He was like a defender.
Yeah.
I really liked him.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this dude is fucking huge.
Yeah.
He's built like a brick house.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
but he would always get injured.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was Oliver Skip, another
Yep.
guy who I know is a great player.
Ricky van der Ven. One of
Yes,
the fastest defenders in the league at the minute.
Insane.
Vicario. Came out of nowhere.
Yeah. He's another young goalkeeper.
Yeah, young goalkeeper, yeah. Obviously, Heung-min Son. There literally is no one
Yeah,
who
this-
hates Heung-min Son.
No,
Like,
you can't.
It's impossible to
Like,
hate Heung-min Son.
He
Yeah.
literally is representing an entire
Yeah.
nation
Absolutely.
in the Premier League, and they all love him, and it's amazing.
Absolutely.
You know,
100%.
the guy's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
He's an angel.
Absolutely. Never puts a foot wrong.
No.
Never says anything. You know.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
awesome. So yeah, they have some good players. I really think that they hopefully with Ange they do something. So yeah, I'm not like I love Arsenal. I'll always be an Arsenal fan. But I'm not like one of those like I know that people are gonna be like, oh, like you like Tottenham, that you're
Yeah,
not a
fake
real
fan.
Arsenal fan,
Yeah.
fake fan. I'm like, sure, man, if that's what you want to think, that's fine.
Well, it's interesting because I was brought up the complete opposite. So like,
Yes.
Manchester United. So hate Liverpool, hate City, hate Arsenal, hate Chelsea, hate Barcelona. Like, there's so many teams that I hate. Or just being an England fan, you know, we hate Argentina, we hate Italy,
France.
Like, we hate France, we hate Scotland. Germany's the old enemy.
Right.
Like, you know, there's so many teams that we hate, and it's because rivalries are built over so many years.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is all historical stuff.
Whole historic, like
Yeah.
United against Liverpool. It's not just a football rivalry. It's the two cities hate each other.
Right. For football reasons.
For football, well, no, we hate each other as cities anyway.
Oh, really?
But
you guys
even
don't get
outside
along?
of football, no.
I didn't know that.
But the biggest example of this, and there will be people that will disagree and say, like, you know, Real Madrid, Barcelona's bigger rivalry, the Turkish rivalries are bigger, but is Celtic against Rangers in Glasgow.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not just football, it's religion,
Yep.
it's politics, it's somehow Ireland is involved because they've got one side Celtic.
You
'cause
said
they're
Ireland?
green. Yeah.
Yeah.
They want the island to be reunified.
Mm-hmm.
Rangers is against the reunification of what's Northern Ireland. They're pro-Britain.
Insane.
There's a reason why those two teams hate each other.
Yeah.
And it's been going on for 100 years, if not more. And so that's why it's very hard for someone, and I'm not putting you down when I say this, but it's very hard for someone to understand if you don't grow up in that environment, you don't understand rivalries.
Yeah.
And it's the same in other sports, you know, it's like the Red Sox and the Yankees. Like, they've been playing since, 1904? Mm-hmm. And they hate each other
Absolutely.
for it, you know? I think the closest that America has to, at least a soccer rivalry, is the Cascade region, where you've got Vancouver, Seattle, and Portland. Mm-hmm. Mostly Portland against Seattle, but Vancouver's there because they needed a Canadian friend. I don't know why, but if you see, I would love to go to a Portland Timbers versus Seattle game. Either stadium.
The stadium for the Portland Timbers is really cool.
Yeah, looks super cool.
I've been twice, and the second time I went, I was in the with the not the ultras. Are they called ultras here too?
We call them ultras, yeah.
Yeah, like the ultra area.
About, yeah.
You know, it's awesome.
Yeah, I would love to. And
It's
their
awesome.
stadium looks very English. It looks like a Craven Cottage.
Yeah,
like it really.
And
does.
it has that atmosphere of like you're there.
Yeah,
you're right there in the game. It's really cool.
Yeah, whereas, so I'm going to say this is a hot take, and obviously I've watched a lot of American sports in Vegas.
Yeah,
but all of the games that I've been to, there's no atmosphere.
No,
there's no atmosphere. Like, so obviously this is a very Vegas specific example, but going and watching the Golden Knights, even the away fans aren't into it. Like, we had one chant, and it was for Fleury, and he doesn't even play here anymore. I went to see the Raiders. There were no chants whatsoever except for defense. That was it.
Yeah.
Like, even going and watching University, like, there is nothing going on. Now, I know it's different if you go and watch like Penn State or Ohio State or something like that. And I'm sure it'd be different if you go and watch the Red Sox or the Yankees or like go and watch the Patriots in Boston. But there just doesn't seem like there's an atmosphere compared to soccer.
Yeah.
And even soccer at like, you watch Atlanta, they've got an atmosphere. You watch Seattle, they've definitely got an atmosphere. Portland, atmosphere. New England Revolution, they've got an atmosphere, and it's just I don't know what it is. Do you have any ideas on like?
I think they need to make a group like the Ultras, but not like
not the hooligans,
not like the Italian
not
Ultras.
Green Street hooligans.
Yeah, not like the hey, we're fascist and we're gonna talk about it while the game is being played.
Yeah.
Italians. I think that there needs to be like a community of people that get together and make chants.
Yeah.
And they bring they bring the noise.
100%.
And they create like the whole atmosphere behind it.
Well, that's a perfect example because that's what Seattle did. Like I watched, you know, we were talking about Copper 90,
right?
So back in the day when Copper 90 was still a thing, they did a video where they went around with Seattle fans and they watched them make the tifos and come up with the chants, and they were like banging the drum and everything like that, and they had a new chant for that game that they were going to unveil. That doesn't happen.
No,
I don't feel like. And so again, this is a very Vegas centric example. But going and watching a Las Vegas Lights game, oh my God, it is so boring.
It's boring.
And it's not because of the quality of the game. Like, last time I went, I watched a bicycle kick.
Yeah.
So the game itself was pretty exciting. It finished 3-2. But the atmosphere, there is no atmosphere. There were 100 traveling Tucson fans, and they were louder than the 1,500
Really?
Las Vegas Lights fans. Because there's
That's so crazy.
There's no togetherness. There's
Yeah.
no like, you know.
Yeah, I feel there's a lot of lack of just. Yeah, there's no chance. There's no community when it comes
Yeah.
to like the. I think the community part is the important part.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where like that's lacking a lot, and I feel like it's interesting that you bring that up because I never thought about the fact that sometimes you're not just there for the football game, you're also there because the environment is awesome.
Absolutely.
And you're drawn to it because of the people.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
it's like, stepping out of my Manchester United head. My dad is a Portsmouth fan, and we used to go and watch West Ham. I think I've said before at Upton Park.
Yeah.
And going, even as an away fan,
Yeah.
like Upton Park was a great stadium.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
a rocking stadium. But even like, we went and watched Portsmouth play Bolton. Bolton is not renowned for being, a big
Right.
team, whereas like Portsmouth and West Ham were both renowned for being loud fans. The Reebok Stadium was rocking.
Really?
I've got to say, the Reebok Stadium was rocking, and it was like Bolton against Portsmouth on a Monday night.
Yeah.
So, but they were still.
I think we're
Absolutely
also
rocking.
here in the States, we're lacking a lot of the history. You know, like there's not a lot of like I feel like people aren't gonna get fired up about playing Kansas.
Yeah.
It's like they're like the States it's so big. It's like, how do we even hate these people?
Well, I was going to say it's the size as well.
Yeah.
You don't get like the only cross-country rivalry I can think of is the Lakers against the Celtics. And that's
Yes.
purely because of that series in sort of the mid to late
Yeah.
2000s where it was just Lakers, Celtics, Lakers, Celtics, Lakers, Celtics.
Right.
Other than that, like, do the Miami Dolphins hate the Seattle Seahawks? Probably not. I don't even know if they're in the same conference because I don't really follow American football. But like, until the playoffs and there's something to play for. But even then, it's more like excitement rather than like atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, the buzz is great because you're all there for a collective thing, and that's what sports is all about. It's the collective euphoria. But
Yeah, it's like they don't know how to channel it out or
Yeah.
what to do.
exactly.
So that's why I think they should definitely create like clubs or like a
Yeah.
group of people where it's like, at first it might be small, but then it can become something.
Grows and grows and
Yeah.
grows.
By the way, I wanted to ask you something. You were talking about how Manchester and Liverpool don't like each other. Is it what's the is it like a political thing? Is it like a cultural thing? Like
So-
what's going on?
The main contributor, if you ask historians, was Liverpool's a port town, as seen by the fact that that's where the Titanic, was based for a while. But what Manchester did was they created something called the Manchester Shipping Canal. So what that does is that creates a canal that completely bisects Liverpool so that ships could come into Manchester
shit.
instead of going to Liverpool. So Liverpool hates Manchester for that reason. And that started a whole rivalry, and that
Are
was
you
in like
serious?
the 1800s, and that started a whole rivalry between these two cities. So when we got football teams, it was like, great,
Now we got
we can beat each other up on the
Wow.
pitch. So yeah,
That's cool.
one of the deciding things where it was like that's where it was a rivalry from then on because they were pissed that we're still there.
How far is Manchester from the coast?
From the coast,
Like,
like 40 miles maybe.
Is that like say if you were to drive that? That's like how long of a drive?
To the coast.
Because I feel like if they did do that. I'm thinking like, how long does it take a ship to go into the port?
So 35 miles from the coast.
Wow.
And then if we do Manchester to Liverpool, let's see if
Are they close by?
I want to say it's 25 miles.
Oh my god, they're so close.
35 miles. 35 miles.
Dude,
Yeah.
here in Vegas, you could go from
Yeah.
Henderson to Summerlin, and that's like 30 miles.
Yeah.
And you're
And that's the distance between Manchester and
that's
Liverpool.
so crazy.
Yeah. So that's the
I
other
was
reason
thinking that they were
over-
like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking like they were really far apart.
Well, it's like, have you ever seen the picture of of Anfield and Goodison Park?
No.
How far away they are?
No, I haven't.
They're literally across a square. Like across a
no
patch
shit.
of grass.
Wow. No way.
They're literally, it says the distance. here.
Wow.
Let's have a look.
Nick just showed me a picture of you can literally see both stadiums with just one shot.
Literally a mile away from each other.
Wow, that's incredible.
So again, that's another reason for the rivalry, because it's like, you're red, I'm blue, your stadium's there, my stadium's here. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, plus we're humans, we're really, we're susceptible to being like, you know what, fuck that guy.
yeah, absolutely.
And I'm going to hate him for the rest of my fucking life.
Yeah. What are you doing cheering on that team for, you bastard?
Yeah.
Why aren't you cheering on my team? Yeah.
Yeah. So, now that you explain all that, I feel like it's much easier, hopefully, for the audience. I already understood this, right? Like, people, where they're, like, the clubs are, where those teams are, and you live there, you understand the culture, you understand the history behind it, you understand why Arsenal hate Tottenham, why Manchester hates Liverpool, plus all these other teams, and so on and so forth. Like, there's a lot more to it than just like, hey, you guys are better than us, or hey, we're better than you.
Exactly.
And here in the States, we don't really have that.
Yeah, except for, like, I would say the Northeast, like Boston, New York.
Yes.
I think there's a bit more of that, maybe even into the Great Lakes, like Chicago. But once you get out here, where, like, what's our nearest city? Like LA?
Like big city?
Away.
Like big city?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe somewhere in Arizona.
Somewhere in Arizona, or somewhere in Utah.
Yeah.
And that's still like a 2-3 hour drive.
Because I would consider our biggest rivals Reno. And that's what, like 12 hours away?
Yeah, that's far.
Like,
dude. That's a super long drive.
Why would I hate Reno except for the fact that they're so bloody arrogant about being the little big city or the big little city or whatever the hell they call themselves?
By the way, Reno fucking sucks, dude. Reno is the worst fucking place. I hate Reno. I've been there like 4 or 5 times. Yeah. Like, I hate Reno, dude. It's not a good place. Yeah. That whole like thing of like, oh, Reno, because we're close to Lake Tahoe and shit, and then we have the college town or what. Dude, no, it's gross.
Do you know the best part about going to Reno? Was leaving to go to Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, if you're from Europe and you come to the States,
don't bother going to Reno.
I mean, why would you? I guess people wouldn't even know, right? And I'm glad that's the case. But if somebody's like, hey, come to Reno, like, it's like, don't.
No.
And it's just.
Yeah.
It should be a PSA of everybody in Europe. Don't go to Reno. Just get the fuck away from it. It's the worst place ever. But that's just me saying that. Yeah.
But I second that motion. So yeah, I think I think you brought up a very good question there, because rivalries are very hard to understand if you don't grow up in the community, in the culture. Like, especially because if you think, like, now obviously it's so vastly different. There are still times where this is, the case. But back in the day, it was like, you go and work at the mill all week, and then you go and watch your football team.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's your escape, is your football team. And if there's another football team who's trying to one-up your football team, fuck that football team, because, like, I just spent all week working at the fucking mill, like,
Yeah,
so.
dude. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense, and I understand that, and I get it. Yeah, and I hope that people that are listening are also on my side in terms of, like, if they're a team, they like a team from the Premier League, they're not like, big, huge rivalry bastards against the other team, because I know that the whole Tottenham and Arsenal thing are like, it's like a huge thing, and I get it, but I don't give a shit.
Well, in all honesty, I think it depends on how you got into watching the sport, because I know a lad from UNLV, and he likes Arsenal, and he is very like, fuck Tottenham, Tottenham are shit, but that's because the people that got him into it were Arsenal fans.
Oh, right.
Who hate Tottenham.
Yeah.
So they told him that he should hate Tottenham because he's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
So he grew up, even though it was a different culture, he grew up with that, I hate Tottenham.
Yeah.
And he might not have realised why, but he hates Tottenham.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Whereas, and, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're watching it for the enjoyment of the sport or the enjoyment of a player, then you're not going to be like, oh, I like Ronaldinho at Barcelona, so fuck Real Madrid.
Right.
It's going to be like, oh, Ronaldinho played beautiful football, but then I watched Real Madrid and David Beckham scored that 60-yard free kick. That's fantastic.
Yeah. That very much was the case. The reason I even became an Arsenal fan was because when I started watching the Premier League, I was watching because my dad was... When was this? I think this was like 2006, 2005, or something like that. He was watching the Prem just because he wanted to watch it. And there was an Arsenal game on, and this was during the time where, like, like they had all these youngsters playing.
Van Persie was just coming through.
Yeah, Van Persie, Jack Wilshere was later. Van
later,
Persie, Ibue, which I know you're not a biggest fan of.
Bakary Sagna.
Yeah, Bakary Sagna. Like they had all these like players that I really liked, and I liked the way they played, and I started watching more and more, and I started liking the team because of what they represented.
Well, and then you still had the likes of Henry at that point as well.
Henry was still there playing
Yeah.
there, yep. And so I became a fan, and then I stopped watching, and then I started watching again when Jack Wilshere and Aaron Ramsey were in the squad.
Was it
Fabregas was still in the squad.
Aaron Ramsey or Jack Wilshere that has the curse? Wherever, do you know about the curse?
No, which curse?
I'm pretty sure it's Aaron Ramsey, but whenever they score, a celebrity dies. And it's
What?
literally like he'll score on the Saturday, a celebrity will die on the Monday.
What? No
Yeah.
shit.
Like, you know that year where we lost like Muhammad Ali, Alan Rickman. He scored like 8 goals.
Oh my
And it was
God,
just like
dude.
every goal he scored, there was a death.
He's like that movie Stranger Than Fiction. You ever seen that?
No, I haven't seen
It's
that.
a movie where like there's an author, like a lady's writing a book,
Oh.
and as she's writing it, it's happening in real life.
shit.
It's really good.
Yeah, it was like that. Like every time
yeah.
he scored, it was like, oh shit, we lost Muhammad Ali. Oh shit, we lost Alan
That's-
Rickman. So
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Except his writing was with the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
He was writing poetry with
exactly,
his ball.
poetry in motion. Yeah,
Yeah, man. So I was into the whole Arsenal thing because I honestly think it's because of that reason, because they were young and they were around my age.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
Like I want to be in that team. So yeah, that's why I became an Arsenal fan. It's literally because of their football they were playing.
and I bet you around that time, that was when Fox Soccer and Setanta Sports had the rights for the Premier League. So
What
I
did you
bet
say? You said
Setanta Sports.
no before that. What did you say?
Fox Soccer. Do you remember FSC?
I
Fox Soccer channel?
thought you said like fucks.
Fox Soccer.
Fuck like FUCKS. Your accent. I was like, wait, what's that? Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, Fox Soccer and yes, yeah.
Because that was when I got back into it. Because before that, you couldn't watch it anywhere in America.
No.
Like, I remember...
What year was this?
2006. It was just after the 2006 World Cup.
Okay.
Because I remember before that, getting pay-per-view for Manchester United versus Reading in the FA Cup. And watching it because that's the only
How
way I
much
could
was it?
watch
Like $30?
Like $40, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's
so
crazy.
I'd only be able to watch the FA Cup because it was like once every 3 months I could watch a game. So, yeah.
2006. That was So okay, let's see. Who did Manchester have at the time?
So Manchester United had Rooney, Ronaldo, Scholes, Giggs,
Tevez.
Ji-sung Park, Tevez.
How old was
Gary
Ronaldo
Neville.
at the time?
He would have been
Early 20s.
Yeah, 2021, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was. Do you remember in the World Cup when Rooney got sent off for stamping on him?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was that World Cup.
Oh okay.
Yeah, so it was just after that.
Okay, I
So-
know where. Okay, now I know.
Because the big
contextually where
story
we're
was
at.
like, are they going to be able to play together after that happened?
Right.
And then they went on and Ronaldo scored like 40 goals and Rooney scored 30
Yep.
goals and like, so I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure if we didn't win, the only thing that stopped us was Mourinho's Chelsea.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
That's because he got there. I think 2006, right?
Yeah, I think
Or 04.
05. I think, but I don't think 05 went very well. I think that was like a rebuilding stage, and then 06 was like.
And 07, he yeah, and then 07, 08, I think is when he got sacked.
Yeah, 08 was when he got sacked after the whole. Oh God, what was her name? Do you remember the physio? The like really beautiful physio that. There was like a whole scandal.
What'd she do?
Like she ran onto the pitch and like all the fans were swooning over her, but then it turned out that she'd been doing something with the team.
What was she
crazy.
doing?
I can't remember what was her name. I'm gonna look this up because this is gonna kill me.
Was
if
she giving the players like sloppy joes or
I
what?
need to remember what the scandal was.
She was probably doing some some handy work, or
Very
some,
hands-on experience.
She was making them sloppy joes or handy work, either one of those two, or
Eva Carnero, that was it. And
what she do?
so what it was I remember. So it wasn't anything to do with the team. It was. So I thought that she was like embezzling the team or something like that. It wasn't anything
I thought
to do
she
with
was sleeping with the team.
that. That's how I made it sound.
Yeah, that's what I thought she was doing.
So what happened was they were playing Swansea. I'll tell you how bloody long ago it was because Swansea
wow.
was still in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And Eden Hazard went down injured. and it was 2-2 in the
think I remember this.
88th minute. And they were checking him out because Eden Hazard was injured. And Jose Mourinho goes ballistic because he's trying to get the win. And they're, looking after Eden Hazard. So he goes ballistic. And basically...
On Eden?
Yeah, on Eva Carneiro, because she's the head physio.
Oh,
And what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? We need to win this game. And I think they ended up drawing 2-2. So he blamed the backroom staff and got rid of his entire medical staff. And she was like the martyr because everyone fell in love with her at the time. Because she was like the only female physio at that point. So
how are we talking?
Let's have a look. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, let's have a little gander. And now I'm curious because you got me thinking that she was out here licking ears, man.
Yeah.
I thought she was out here, tasting some mustache.
Let's have a look. In all honesty, she's all right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think it was one of those things where, like, she is female and there's a lot of testosterone in the stadium.
Yeah, that's probably what it is, yeah. That's so...
Yeah, I think that was the minute where he walked up to her and was like, what the fuck are you doing?
I remember this. Because, it was a really big deal, and then Jose had to apologize or some shit afterwards, right?
Well, they said that he should apologize, and I don't think he did.
Fucking Jose, dude.
So... Oh, actually, that was 2015, 2016. That was the second time he got sacked from Chelsea.
You know who would be a great two people to have in the same room? Cantona and Mourinho.
Oh god, that would be amazing.
Man, I feel like those two would be like just electric, man.
Yeah.
Electric.
Yeah, there is some characters in football. There really are.
There is, man, and I love it.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me fall in love with the game too. Where it's like sometimes you see these like Zlatan.
Yeah.
You have these players that are beyond the club, beyond
Absolutely.
him being a football player. It's like, no, this dude's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like he's saying all these things, like he doesn't give a shit.
Yep.
Like,
and he's backing it up by doing some ridiculous.
Yes, specifically
stuff.
him.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, as opposed to like a Messi, it's like you barely ever hear him speak, and when he does, he says like the most generic shit.
Yeah.
Some people think that he's autistic because he doesn't know how to speak right sometimes.
Yep.
And it's like, nah, man, like he's just a normal dude. Anyways, like, yeah, having those big personalities is awesome. I love that.
Yeah, 100%. And that was that period of football from like 2006 to 2010, because you had Ferguson, you had Mourinho, you had Arsene Wenger.
Yeah.
You had like, probably don't remember him, but there was a Tottenham manager called Martin Jol, and he was always getting in trouble.
I don't remember him.
Harry Redknapp was manager of Portsmouth, and he just didn't know when to shut his mouth. Proper Cockney, like. And then on the international stage, like that was when Guardiola was just coming through. Who would Real Madrid's manager have been at that time? God, that's a question I haven't thought of for a while, because I think that was before Real Madrid
wasn't
was
it
winning,
Mancini? Wasn't Mancini the Real Madrid manager? Or Pellegrini? One of those two?
Pellegrini was in Spain, but I don't think he was Real Madrid. Anyway, everyone was a character. Like all the Italian teams, like all their managers were characters.
Yeah,
like
there was a different type of people during that time.
Yeah.
That were in football, like really had something to say, really had something to do. Well,
and that's why I like as much as I despise Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, like I hated him because I couldn't hate him.
Loved him.
Ange, big Ange Postecoglou.
Yep.
Can't hate the guy.
No.
Here's a question for you. Since we talked about him earlier, Arnie Sloot or Slot or
Yeah.
Slot or whatever his name is.
Slot, whatever.
So Liverpool won against Ipswich. Mm-hmm. And everyone was going crazy. Oh, Liverpool's back. Liverpool's back.
Right.
No disrespect.
Yeah.
But it was fucking Ipswich.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that Liverpool are a bad team. They're basically the same team as last year. But does that mean that Liverpool are back when they beat
No, I
Ipswich?
think it was like I saw it almost like you said, no disrespect, but also like kind of disrespect because I'm gonna say this. But I feel like for them it might have been like another like warm up match or like a friendly match.
Absolutely.
Because like it looks like they were getting it together, kind of not here and there. Like they were doing a really good job, but yeah, there wasn't really a lot of resistance from Ipswich.
Yeah.
It
When I
seemed
think a warm up game is a good way of putting it, because Ipswich need to find their feet in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to take them a couple of games to properly find their feet, because there's very few teams that can come up and just, run away with it. There have been teams that have done that. Reading is one that pops to mind. They qualified for Europe in their first season, which is crazy.
Whoa.
So there are teams that can do it, but very few and far between. And especially because, I love McKenna. He's ex-United assistant coach. But, back-to-back promotions doesn't mean that you're ready for the Premier League.
Yeah, going from second division to Prem is a crazy jump. It's
Even
not
going from
easy.
third division to second division to Prem is even more of a jump.
Yeah.
Because 2 seasons ago, they were playing like Rotherham.
This was who? You're talking about Ipswich?
Yeah.
They were in the third division 2 years ago?
Promotions. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay, now that gives me a different perspective on that. I did not know that.
So that's I was saying to someone, can you imagine if they won the Premier League and had back-to-back promotions? And
the scoreline was 2-1, right?
It's 2-0.
Oh, 2-0. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking of a different game then, because what game ended in 2-1? I forgot who it was. I thought it was the Ipswich Liverpool game.
Ipswich Liverpool was 2-0. Was it Aston Villa West Ham? Because that finished 2-1. Brentford Crystal Palace.
No, it doesn't matter. I thought it was a Liverpool game. I do want to talk about real quick the Italian league. Did you watch any games or did you watch any recaps of anything?
I didn't. The only thing I saw was how the league table was looking.
Yeah,
which was crazy because I looked at it on Saturday and there were 8 teams with 1 point, and then I looked at it on Sunday and there were 14 teams with 1 point, and then looked at it on Monday and 2 teams finally won. So it was 3-3, 1-1, 1-1, 1-1, 1-1.
We literally talked about this the week before that happened, or a couple of days before that happened. And we were like, Italian teams, they win 1-0 or they're 1-1 or 1-0. It's that's the case.
It happened.
The majority of the games are like that.
We predicted it.
So I didn't watch a lot of them. The game I did watch that was really good was the Atlanta game.
Ooh.
Dude, they're incredible, man.
Really?
Their squad is so good. I'm surprised that a lot of their players are still in that squad because they're literally at another level.
Yeah.
If they challenge for the title this year, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe they can't because of squad depth and all that shit. But yeah, dude, they looked really fucking good.
Well, it depends because squad depth is only an issue if you need it. Because
that's true.
One of the reasons that Leicester won the league is because they didn't have to dabble with their squad depth.
Right.
If they had injuries, they would have been screwed. But everyone stayed fit the entire season.
Miracle season, dude.
Miracle season, exactly.
Yeah.
So if Atalanta can have a season like that, it doesn't really matter your squad depth if everyone's fit.
I would love for them to win because I don't want I personally from the Italian league I like Roma because Jose Mourinho was there. Before that, I was a big AC Milan fan.
Fair.
And that's fine. But I would love for a team that's below the top 4 to win it. That'd be so cool.
Well, I think now more than ever, the Italian league is so even because you've got the 2 Milan teams, you've got Roma, you've got Juventus, you've got Atalanta, you've got Napoli, you've got Fiorentina. You've got all these teams
strong.
that are pretty strong.
Yeah.
And even when you go down to the lower teams like Como, the project that's going on there with, is it
Fabregas?
Yeah,
Fabregas.
And he brought in Rafael Varane and a couple of other players, and it's if they can gel, then they could be.
Dude,
a
the amount of
with.
transfers that they've made this transfer window is insane.
Yeah,
they recently just got what's the midfielder from Barca? He's been there for the longest time. Pedri? No, not Pedri.
Sergio Roberto.
Yes. So they got Sergio Roberto. They got a new goalkeeper. I forgot what his name is. They got Varane.
Okay, let's have a look.
They got. Oh my God, they have so many. A lot of experience. They brought in a lot of experience.
Oh, Aldero. He's been in the. He's a goalkeeper. He's been in the Serie A for ages. Rafael Varane. I don't know who Ali Yassim is, but he came in from the Saudi league by the looks of it. Oh my God, Pepe Reina.
Pepe Reina, that's who it was. Yep. He's got to be 1,000 years old now.
Yeah. Alberto Moreno, ex-Liverpool player. So they got 2 ex-Liverpool players.
Yeah.
So fuck them. No, I'm just kidding. Bellotti from Roma.
Yeah, Bellotti, that's what it was.
That's a good one.
Andrea, his name is Andrea Bellotti. He's 30.
Yeah.
I think either 30 or 31.
He was meant to be the next Italian striker at one time.
Yep.
Strefetza, I know him because of FIFA, so he must be good. That's all there is to it. So yeah, they've got a. Let's have a look.
They had some. They brought in quite a bit of experience.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I'm pretty iffy about
they've got
Fabregas.
Simone Verde. Bloody hell, he's another good one.
Yes. Yeah, dude. They got some good. I don't know where the fuck they're getting this money from, but apparently they got money.
Oh, Patrick Cutrone, I know him as well.
Yeah, I don't know about Fabregas's,
Yeah,
how he's gonna do or whatever.
being good as a player doesn't mean that you'll be a great manager.
Yeah, so hopefully it works out for him. But
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, I might be mistaken here.
Yeah.
I think he brought him from the third division to the second, and now from the second to the third.
Oh shit! Fair
But
enough.
I could be off.
Fair.
I think he might have actually just taken him from the second to the first.
Even still,
But yeah, he got him promoted. So
Oh, yeah.
he's doing something
good
right.
for him.
So now the last thing I'll say about the Italian league is Juventus.
Yeah.
So Juventus got rid of a bunch of like senior players,
Shit.
and they brought in a bunch of youth with Thiago Motta, and they played this weekend, and they looked fucking incredible,
Really?
dude. Oh my god. Vlahovic,
Oh yeah,
their striker.
Yeah.
Another Olivier Giroud. The dude is gorgeous. I'm like, bro, I was watching
Yeah.
him play, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Just his hair flowing.
The hair flowing. He's got that chiseled jaw. I'm like, oh my god, dude, this guy is a fucking like a model. He's a model.
Looks like his statue belongs next to David.
Dude, he really does, man. He's a good looking guy, man. But he's also like extremely dangerous. He didn't score that night, but he like
Opens up the space up
oh
there.
my god,
Because
dude,
he's a big Serbian,
yeah, he's a big guy. He's
Yeah.
like I think 6'3" or 6'4", something like that.
Sounds about right, yeah.
like probably 220, 230.
Yeah.
So he's a big guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that one of the I forgot his name because they're new. The midfielder that scored their first goal, he's like early 20s, maybe late teens.
Is it Mbangualu?
Is that who scored? Is that what it says? It scored?
That was the first one.
Yeah, that guy. Whatever that guy. He's a super young guy. He came in
Oh my God, he's 20.
Yeah, he's 20.
Yeah.
He came in this transfer window. He's a brand new
And
guy.
there's Timothy Weah as well. I didn't realize.
Weah, yep.
Yeah.
Weah's in there. Yeah, dude, the whole squad is just like really young.
Well, here, just to go through a couple of the players that they got out. So Daniela Rugani, he's been there forever.
Yep.
Szczesny,
Yep.
ex-Arsenal player.
Ex-Arsenal player.
Let's have a look.
So that's two big senior players already.
Big players. Mateus Sule, he's been there for quite a while.
Sule, yep. He went to Roma, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, they got rid of Moise Kean. Wow.
Yep. Moise
Interesting.
Kean. They're keeping McKennie, the
Nice.
American.
Oh, good riddance to Adrian Rabiot.
Excuse me.
Bloody hell.
I
He's
hate-
been linked with
I-
Manchester United for about 20
I
years.
hate him. Him and Gondozi are like I hate them both.
Oh, so overrated.
Yeah, overrated and just shitty.
Yeah. Alexandro, old man Sandro.
Yep.
Ranocchia, he's been there forever. Oh no, he went in January.
Is
But
that's
still,
5 players? I think 6
Yeah,
players now that you
so-
said.
let's see. And those aren't all of them. Those are just the ones that I've heard of. So we've got Alex Sandro, Rabiot, Moise Kean,
Mm-hmm.
Sula,
Szczesny.
Yeah, Szczesny, and
And-
Rugani. So that's 6
6 senior
like,
players.
senior players, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and let's see who they brought in. So they brought in Kalulu. That's a good play. He only
Yeah.
just signed from AC Milan. That's a good signing.
I'm surprised that they let him go, honestly.
Right? Kefren Turam, again,
Yes.
because of FIFA.
Dude, Thuram.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I might be. I don't know if this is right or not, but his dad is like a very famous.
Lillian Turam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And they were talking about it.
Played for Chelsea, I think.
I think so, but
Yeah.
he looked fucking good, man.
Yeah.
And he's also super young too.
Yeah. So he came from Nice, and let's see how old he is. 23. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he got a team of the season on FIFA, so that means he's automatically, a great player. That's the barometer. Douglas Luiz from Aston Villa. That's a good signing.
Yes.
Saw
he's
him play.
a little bit older, but
Yeah.
I mean older
Thiago
than
Jallo, good player from Lille.
Yes. Yeah, dude, they signed some really good young
business.
players, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, man, Thiago Motta is gonna really do something this season. I really hope that he does. I'm gonna root for them.
Yeah.
In terms of them doing well, because his system of play is weird and different, and I like that.
Well, I saw that his formation is like, was it a 3-5-2 or something like that?
Dude, it's like 2-7.
Oh no, 4-2-3-1. Yeah.
It's some weird shit.
Yeah.
It's some weird shit, but it's incredible, and that's the reason why Bologna got to what? I think they got to fourth last season.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
So yeah, and also again going back to what's more important, the manager or the player?
Yeah.
Clearly,
exactly.
and for this instance, the manager wins out.
Yep.
Because the dude is incredible.
When especially take Bologna for example, manager or the players. I can't imagine that Bologna brought in too many players and got rid of too many players.
Yep.
Where are they going to finish this season? And that will tell you manager or the players.
Absolutely, and also a lot of the players that were that did really well for Bologna last year, a lot of them got picked out.
Really?
Calafiori, Zirk. You guys took Zirky. What's his name? Xerxes. What's his name? Zeke. The striker, the guy who scored
for United. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, Joshua Xerxes.
Xerxes, yeah.
I was thinking.
I said you guys took the. Who were you thinking?
I thought you meant an England player. I was like, who the fuck plays for England called Xerxes? Because I think my mind went to Granit Xhaka, and I was like, Xhaka didn't play for Bologna. What are you talking about? Yeah, fair.
And there was like I think one or two more players that left that were the reason why Bologna were where they were. So yeah, I don't think they're gonna be in top 4 again, or top 6 this next season.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So yeah,
interesting. Yeah, I think Juventus and Atalanta are probably the teams to watch. I mean, Inter Milan always dangerous. It'd be interesting to see how they get on without Alexis Sanchez, but at the end of the day, he was getting on a bit. Mm-hmm. AC Milan always dangerous. Roma dangerous, especially with De Rossi screaming at everyone from the sidelines.
Yeah, dude, another team that signed a bunch of youth. A lot of their players are super young.
Yeah,
So yeah, the Italian league is looking exciting, man. It's been looking exciting for the past couple years.
Yeah,
I've been following it for a little bit, especially because, like I said, Mourinho was at Roma for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, really exciting times to come.
When one last
result,
because I know we've been recording for a while, but
no, we're good, man.
Did you see the Real Madrid score?
Against.
So they played Mallorca.
Oh yeah, they tied, right?
1-1 against Mallorca.
Yeah.
And Ferland Mendy got sent off. So I didn't see the highlights.
And then Eduardo Camavinga got injured before.
Oh really?
So now they have 2 players out.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Did you see the Rodrigo was pissed because everyone was talking about Mbappé, Vinicius Jr. and Bellingham,
and nobody was saying
and he scored, and he's like,
Yeah.
I think you need to add an R to that acronym.
Yeah.
Because I'm here as well.
Yeah.
And it's like fair enough. Usually the acronym is the front 3. It's usually the wingers and the striker. And then the cam is obviously the great player that links it all together. Mm-hmm. But poor Rodrigo, I
agree. I think this might be like a problem for him, that he wants to get that credit.
Yeah.
And who knows if he's going to get it.
When I could also see if he does get it, I could also see it being a catalyst of being like, fuck you guys, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Because I think, the rumor was that Arsenal were interested in him.
Ooh.
And I was like, I would love that.
Be a good shout for Arsenal.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think Rodrigo's. I feel like he still has not a lot, but a little bit of development to go through.
Because he's what, 22, 23, something like that?
Yeah, he's nothing older than 23. He's still pretty young.
Yeah, 23. Yeah.
And so he seems like I think Vinicius is a little bit better than him.
Fair.
But Rodrigo has a lot of potential, and I think that somebody like Mikel Arteta could really bring a lot out of it.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And I think he would fit Arsenal's system as well.
Yes.
I think because Arsenal's system likes players that can play in multiple positions.
Yeah.
Take Kai Havertz. I mean, he plays fullback, he plays cam, he plays central midfield, he plays striker. He might as well be the goalkeeper next. For God's sake, he just plays in every sodding position. He's another one where if you look at the alternate positions on FIFA, it's like, Jesus Christ, where do I want to play Kai Havertz?
He's everywhere.
But I think if you got someone like Rodrigo, it would be the like the missing piece, because the thing that Arsenal have missed for years is a striker.
Yeah,
and no disrespect to Kai Havertz, because he scored. And he did great in the Euros, but he's not a striker.
He's not.
It may be a false nine, but he's not a striker. And so he's playing out of his comfort zone. And like you've got Gabriel Jesus, and he's been a huge disappointment, in my opinion, since he moved from City. Had flashes.
Yes.
But like Arsenal are missing that.
Yeah, I've never really
striker.
been a big fan of Gabriel Jesus. I've never really liked him, even when he was at Manchester City. Like,
yeah, I thought he was way overhyped.
Yeah, I don't really see what the whole thing is there. I mean, I get it. Like, he does score goals and he does create chances and he does open up space, but he's not like a Giroud.
No,
you know, he's not going to be a Haaland who's going to really be a presence up there in front. Yeah, I feel like a lot of teams are really lacking in like the big, tall, original striker type of position.
Absolutely. Well, I think it is a position that's gone out of fashion.
Yeah.
With the exception of the likes of like Nicholas Füllkrug or like Haaland, obviously Rasmus Højlund. He's not the biggest and the bulkiest, but he's still up there in stature. Like, where are the Peter Crouches of the world?
Yeah, man, I agree. I did hear that. What's his name? Ivan Toney.
Oh yeah.
Toney. I heard that Mikel had an interview with him, and that it didn't go well.
Oh, it didn't go well. Okay.
And so that's the reason. That's the reason why they didn't pick him up.
Well, because he was on the bench for Brentford because they're anticipating him to leave.
Right.
Which is crazy because, here's a question for you: is it disrespect or is it him thinking about his future? But he had that whole gambling ban, and then Brentford still played him. Like waited and waited, didn't sign another striker, and now he's going to leave.
Now he's going to leave.
Is it disrespect, or will Brentford be laughing to the bank because they just made 40 million or whatever? Like,
I think it is disrespectful to the club in terms of like, hey, we're here for you, because they could have done something to him. They could have. I don't know what the repercussions could have been. It could have been like your wages would get cut or you get sold or whatever.
I was going to say they could have just flat out dropped him.
Yeah, or cancel his contract, whatever. But then on the other hand, it's like, you're gonna get 40 mil.
Yeah.
Or maybe even more. Who knows?
For a team like Brentford, that's great. Although this late in the season, are they going to be able to spend it? But still.
And also if they pick him up, who's going to pick him up?
Well,
because Chelsea
probably give him a transfer to a contract to 2070. The United, but we already picked up 2 strikers. Then again, you can never have enough strikers.
Yeah.
Arsenal, obviously, a shout, although the interview doesn't sound like it went well.
Yeah.
Maybe Tottenham, although they just got Solanke. So would they pick up another striker with Heung-min Son? Maybe Liverpool, because I don't know who their striker is at the minute.
Liverpool would be a good fit, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darwin. And
actually,
besides
let's not manifest Liverpool. Let's not talk about that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I can't stand Darwin Núñez. Oh my god,
dude,
he pisses me off so much.
What about him? Like,
he's so overhyped.
I
He's
agree.
Useless.
Yes.
The other thing that pisses me off is his bloody crowd chant is so bloody catchy. I've got it stuck in my head now.
Oh no, what is it?
Because I just said Darwin Núñez.
What is it?
It's like Darwin Núñez. Something. It's to the tune of that. It's like, fuck me. I've got that stuck in my head now. God damn it. I hate it when that happens.
I gotta look this up because I don't think I've heard it.
It's so stupid. But yeah, they've got Darwin Núñez. Like Salah, I guess, can play up front. But
yeah, so up front, I think it's Darwin, and I think the other person that goes up there usually is Gakpo. Sometimes he plays.
Oh yeah, Cody Gakpo. Yeah,
he plays as a false nine, kind of.
Yeah, but the trouble with all of them is they're all wingers.
Yeah.
They're not strikers.
No.
Like, not out-and-out strikers anyway.
Yeah. I don't really know the Liverpool squad that well, but I don't think they really do have an actual striker. And
they haven't since... Well, even Firmino was a centre-forward.
Yeah, they don't...
Mane was a centre-forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the striker is really going out of style.
Which is crazy, because... It's the striker.
I agree.
What do you mean the striker's going out of fashion? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
I would love for Victor Osimhen to come to the Premier League.
Oh, 100%.
Of course, I would love for him to come
100%.
to like
Yeah,
because that's been like a link. But like, just
if Arsenal got Victor Osimhen, talk about fixing all of your problems right there. Like,
I would love that, but
yeah.
I don't know. I don't. We just got mikel merino. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw that. That's a very interesting transfer.
Yeah, good player.
Very good player. I'm surprised that Sociedad let him go.
Me too. And also, is it Sociedad that only gets players from?
No, that's Bilbao.
Oh, that's Bilbao.
Athletic
Okay,
Bilbao,
that's
yeah.
Bilbao.
Yeah.
So yeah, mikel is Merino is an interesting player. He's like super tall.
Yep.
He's an incredible attacking midfielder.
Yeah.
He has I think he has like the most aerial duels and duels on one in all of Europe.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. So Arsenal got him for like 30 mil.
That's crazy.
And they're just about to sell Eddie Nketiah to I think
Hell, I keep forgetting that he's still on your books. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think Brentford. Is it Brentford or?
Well, it could be Brentford if they're getting ready to get rid of Tony.
That would make sense. I think Brentford is gonna get Eddie Nketiah.
I forgot he was still there.
Yeah,
he's one of those players like Jesse Lingard, where it's like, oh, he's the next up and coming player, and he's like 32.
Yeah, yeah. Him and Reiss Nelson are there, and I think,
my god, he's still playing. Jesus Christ,
he's still there. Yeah, he'll occasionally, he'll occasionally pop in and out. Last season, he scored literally like the game was in its dying seconds, and they threw in a cross, and Reiss Nelson was able to somehow, some way make that shot, and it was a goal, and the whole
went crazy.
Stadium went insane. Mikel's running down the touchline.
Yeah,
I'm like, stop trying to be Jose Mourinho. You're not Jose Mourinho. Running down like that to celebrate with your players. How dare you? But yeah, it was incredible. Like it was such a great goal. Yeah. But I don't really rate him as a player. I don't really.
Yeah.
Him and Nketiah. Nketiah has like little moments flashes. Here and there where you're like, oh, he could be something. Yeah. But like, dude, he's 25.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I know for strikers the prime ages are like 27 and up.
Yeah.
For a proper striker.
Yeah.
So maybe he will be a good striker in the next couple of years, but who knows?
Maybe. I think he could develop in a team where he's the main man. So maybe going to Brentford would be a good fit, because it's like, I'm top dog, I am the number one. Whereas now he's second fiddle to Havertz and Jesus and Saka, and he's not going to get in the team really.
Yeah.
So yeah, that might be a good shout. Interesting. So another young player that I wanted to talk about,
please,
because we mentioned him the last couple of episodes. So Facundo Pellistri.
Yeah.
The Uruguayan for United.
Yeah.
He's gone to bloody Panathinaikos.
I saw that.
What the fuck? Where did that come from?
That was so random.
Bigging him up as this big, next up and coming winger, and then he fucks off to Greece. Yeah. Where the hell did that come from?
And also Greece?
Right.
Why Greece?
Not
Is
Italy,
he Greek?
not Holland, not Spain.
Yeah.
It fucks off to
even
Greece.
France.
Yeah. Oh, he's Uruguayan. He didn't even go back to the motherland. Yeah,
that's so weird.
It's almost like Panathinaikos rang up Manchester United and they were like, "Hey, Eric, have you got a player for us? Hey, do you want Facundo?
Yeah.
We'll put him on the next flight over. EasyJet, come on, we'll put him over to Athens for you."
It's like that Moneyball scene. You seen Moneyball, the movie?
Yeah.
Remember he's just ringing up managers and
stuff. Hey, do you want to come to?
Yeah. That's a super weird. Maybe it's like FFP rules or something like that.
Could be FFP rules. That the thing that I was thinking was, if you look at United's squad right now, Garnacho, Diallo, Højlund, Xerxes.
Right.
We've got all these young players
that are going to get time.
Yeah, they're going to get time.
Yeah.
How much time is Pellistri going to get?
That's true.
And we've got all the other academy players that are coming up. It's a bit like, do you know who Anthony Elanga is?
No.
So he's a Swedish player, played for Manchester United until last season. And then he went to Nottingham Forest. Again, another one I was devastated he left. But at the same time, I can because he wouldn't have played last season. He might have replaced
I would have rather
Anthony.
leave.
I was going to say he might have replaced Anthony. But yeah, he wouldn't. He just wasn't going to get any playing time. It's a shame because he had a really good crowd chant as well. Rhythm is a dancer, Anthony Elanga. It's a shame because it was a great chant.
The chants that you guys come up with are just amazing, man. It's just, they're so fun.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And so cheeky.
100%. 100%. There's one, the song "Spirit in the Sky"? Like 70s song.
I don't think so.
The spirit in the sky. And there's one where it's like, change the lyrics to "I'm gonna go on the piss with Georgie Best."
Oh Oh, really?
When I go up to heaven, I'm going to go on the piss with Georgie Best.
And United fans
It's a
sing
crowd
that?
chant, yeah.
Oh my god, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. I actually saw it was a quote of him earlier. He was saying that, like, not a lot of people in this world get to like play soccer and then like sleep with all these like models. He's like, fortunately, I
did
do.
both.
I did both. Yeah.
It was not a lot of people get to score in a Champions League final and sleep with Playboy models, and I've fortunately done both.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, what a fucking guy, man. He was like the original Zlatan. Yeah, like
100%.
he's like talking all this shit.
Oh, 100%. But he backs it up. He backs it up
man,
every
exactly.
time. Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of interesting stuff going on. I think I mentioned it earlier. The Conor Gallagher to Atletico Madrid. That's a weird transfer.
Yeah, and then did you see like his they did like a ceremony thing? Dude, there was like 30,000 people there.
Did you see he was like flanked by motorbikes for some reason?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like,
Yeah.
I think he did the right thing.
Yeah.
Because in Chelsea, people are talking about the squad,
shit
and
about
they're
him.
not even talking about individual players.
Yeah.
And like out there, like they're really showing him that love,
Yeah.
man. So that's really cool.
And respect to him, he went up to the microphone and he was like, in Spanish, he said, I don't really speak a lot of Spanish, but I'll try my best. And then he was like, go Atleti, or whatever he said. It was like, okay, fair
Yeah,
enough,
that was
fair
really
enough.
cool.
That's all you need to say. You don't need to say anything else.
And the crowd loved him.
Loved him.
It was
Absolutely.
awesome, man.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see Atletico Madrid next season. Because I think...
Yes, with their new transfers and stuff.
With all the new transfers, I think they've been pretty savvy in the market. I think... what do you think about Joao Felix to Chelsea?
I don't give a shit about him.
Same.
Moving on.
I think the biggest thing for me is... And this is going to sound awful, but it's almost Atletico Madrid getting rid of dead weight.
Thank God.
In my opinion.
I agree.
Because it's like, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
Seriously, what has he done?
I think he's one of those players that is so good that he just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And like for him, it's just about the paycheck and the money and the style.
He comes across as very arrogant.
At least that's what comes. I don't know the guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, none of us know the guy.
Yeah.
And we don't know what he's like or whatever. But that's so far seems to be his persona.
And sometimes you can get a feeling for someone.
Yeah.
The way that they act. You know. That's why, like, Mbappé, don't know him, never met him before.
Right.
But he just comes across as a royal prick.
He
Like, absolute royal prick.
That's not what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say he comes across as like a royal, like, gentleman.
Oh, no.
Prick.
Royal prick. Like, he's always throwing tantrums. Like, what did he do for France in the Euros? Like, he forced PSG's hand when the president of PSG had basically said that he had a say in their transfer schedule. And then he goes to Real Madrid and it's like, oh, I'm really humble and a really nice guy. It's like, fuck off.
Yeah.
You went from Monaco to PSG for 500 million euros or whatever it was. Like, you were making 150 million euros a match. And then you went and did that to the team that gave you everything. Like, come on.
Yeah, that is very true. I didn't think about that. When he came to Madrid, he was very much like, I'm come from. Well, he does come from.
Yeah,
he does come
comes from humble beginnings.
That's fine. I get that, but also he did come with the attitude of like, I'm just a little kid. Like, I'm so happy to be here. It's like, no, dude, you're like
Piss
one
off.
of the you're one of the most highest paid
Yeah.
like football people of all time. Like,
Yeah.
you know what you're doing.
If he'd like gone to Bayern Munich or something like that, and it's like, I'm going to put Bayern Munich back on their pedestal.
That would have been awesome.
Fair enough.
There needs to be more of that.
If he'd gone to Arsenal and been like, you know what, I want to make Arsenal the greatest team in North London once again. Fair enough.
Pull a
But no.
Maradona, go to Napoli.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's see what you do there.
Go to Ajax or something like that. Do a Henrik Larsson and go to Celtic. But like, that's never going to happen. But like, no, he went to Real Madrid, which, fair enough, if I was in his position and I wanted to make the paycheck, I would probably have gone.
For sure.
But at the same time, I'm playing for my supposed boyhood team.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go to my childhood dream team, quote unquote, which he did have the posters on his wall. I'll give him that. But at the same time, it's like,
it was for Ronaldo, wasn't it? Well, like, was it for the club or was it for Ronaldo?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I know you're talking shit about someone that we don't know, but he just gives off that aura of being a prick. Like, like when David Beckham went to Real Madrid, or David Beckham in general, he just comes across as a really endearing, genuine person.
Yeah.
Like, Rasmus Højlund.
There might be a little bit of bias, though,
person.
right? Because you're a Manchester United fan.
It's true. It's true. But even still, like, who can I think of that I'd that's from another team that I might not hate as much. This is a tough one. Michael Owen, ex-Liverpool player.
Yeah.
Can I really say anything nice? I mean, he went to Manchester United, so I have to be nice to him a little bit. He just...
Hargreaves. Wasn't Owen Hargreaves... Didn't Owen
Fuck
Hargreaves...
Owen Hargreaves. Fucked off to City. Fuck Owen Hargreaves. God, there's not a lot of bloody players I can speak highly of from other teams, really.
You know what's funny, though? I will say real quick that when Beckham was in Real Madrid... You know, this was during the time of, like, you know, there wasn't any social media.
Yeah.
There was very little coverage about the players.
That is true.
So, like, when he did show up in commercials, and he just seemed like an entity.
Yeah.
He seemed like he was somebody that you didn't even know that it existed.
Absolutely.
As a person. You're like, oh, my God, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah.
Didn't even hear his voice.
Yeah.
Didn't even know what he sounded like.
Probably for the best.
Which is, you know, that's what I mean. Because now it's like you hear his voice and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What? You sound like that?
Although, it is better if you hear him in the 90s. Fucking hell.
Is it worse?
He's so much worse.
Because he's younger, right?
So quiet. David, what do you think of the game today? Yeah, so I think that the team played really well. And, you know, I think if we play together, we can do really good things. David, what do you think of the goal? Yeah, so I just had a shot from 50 yards out, and I thought it was really good. Now, he's like...
Yeah,
you know,
now he's...
I mean, he doesn't sound much better, but did you see the...
At least he can speak now.
The previews for the Qatar World Cup? Where he was doing all these press releases, and he's talking about the food. He's like, "Oh, you know, one of the things that I love about Qatar, you can have all sorts of food here." And he turns around and he's like, "Oh, look, a taco."
Oh my God,
it's
dude.
So
it's cringe.
cringy.
It's cringe.
But at the same time, like, do you remember when he came to Galaxy?
Yeah.
The amount of hype
Yeah.
around David Beckham, like. I've not seen soccer on American TV that much in a long time until Messi came.
I was gonna say,
Like, but before Messi came, it was all about David Beckham, and it was like it wasn't on the sports channels; it was on the news.
Yeah,
it was main news that David Beckham was coming to America.
Yeah,
this was like Muhammad Ali doing the Rumble in the Jungle. This was like proper top tier stuff right there.
I almost want to say that it was bigger than the Messi one.
Oh, 100%.
Because
it was the first. It was the first.
Yeah.
Messi was hyped, but everyone kind of knew it was coming.
And also Messi doesn't speak English.
Yeah.
And Messi is very like secluded kind of a person. Yeah. He's not really like
doesn't have the personality.
He doesn't have the personality. David Beckham spoke English.
Yeah.
Is has that English accent which all Americans love.
He's got a bit of a cheeky charm about him.
Yeah, he does. He's a cheeky guy and he's a super good looking dude.
Yeah.
And he was still super good looking even when he came from PSG. I think he left, right?
Absolutely.
Like the guy was on top of the world at the time.
100%. Well, and that's the thing. Like,
and he was 35. He was 35.
No, I don't even think he was that.
Really?
Because he was still,
younger.
Let me see how old he was when he came to Galaxy.
I think he was when he was
at PSG. I
don't even
think he hit 30 yet.
When he was at PSG, I think he was there after Madrid, right?
Oh, at PSG, yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant at Galaxy.
Yeah, at PSG, he was, when he got to Galaxy, I think he was like 35, 36 or something like that.
He was 31. So he wasn't in his peak when he got to Galaxy.
31?
He was 31.
Oh my God, he was even younger than I thought, dude.
So he left Real Madrid in the peak of their Galacticos.
Yeah.
To go to LA Galaxy.
Oh, so he went from Madrid to Galaxy and then from Galaxy to PSG.
From Galaxy to AC Milan and
AC
then
Milan.
to PSG.
Oh, so I got
that was
I'm
when,
all confused.
Because that was when he went to AC Milan. That's when he played with Ronaldinho, Zlatan, like Clarence Seedorf, like.
I'm glad he went back.
Fucking hell, that team.
So he retired at PSG. That's what it was.
Yes, he retired at PSG, and that's when he bought into Miami.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Shout out David Beckham. What a legend.
Absolute legend.
You know.
Obviously, there is a lot of bias.
I was gonna say.
But have you ever seen that? Again, showing my bias, but the goal he scores for England against Greece.
Oh yeah, it's one of those goals that if like say you met somebody that's never seen soccer, football,
that goal,
you're gonna show them that goal, dude.
With the commentary, have you ever the commentary?
The commentary makes it,
and especially because
when he runs, he does
the airplane,
and the shirt, when when their shirts are still flapping, man,
there are some of those goals that are just like that one, the Rooney overhead kick against City. the Marcus Rashford penalty against Paris. And I'll do.
I don't think I've seen that. I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, you
the penalty one you're talking about.
So it's the one where PSG won 2-0 in the first leg at Old Trafford.
Mm-hmm.
So Manchester United go to Paris, and we need to win. This was when away goals were still a thing, but we needed to win by 3 goals. Or we needed to win by 2 goals, and then PSG scored, so we needed to win by 3 goals.
Oh, shit.
And Lukaku scored in like the 4th minute. Then PSG score, and it's like, impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because, like, we were starting Dalot, who was about 19 at the time. Scott McTominay had just come through the academy. Like, half our players were injured. And it was like Marcus Rashford, Lukaku, and De Gea, and the rest of it was academy players. And so we score another goal just after half-time. And then 89th minute, Diego Dalot just decides to take a shot for some reason, and it hits one of the PSG players in the arm.
And they got a penalty.
Well, it doesn't go anywhere for a minute, and then all of a sudden you see the referee do the VAR symbol, and it's like,
everybody's freaking out.
God, what's going to happen? And he gives the penalty, and Rashford gives Buffon the eyes and sends him in completely the wrong direction. Smashes it top post.
And against Buffon, too.
Against Buffon, and it was the goal that won it. And in Paris, this was when there was Neymar, there was Mbappé. Now, Neymar was injured, but still, Mbappé was playing, Verratti was playing.
I'm sure you were elated.
I was at work. And I jumped, yes, in the office. Everyone's like, what the fuck just happened? So, yeah. So those moments are the ones where, like, the reason you love football.
Absolutely.
Like, and it's like, even, I was going to say, I'll give an unbiased example. But do you know the corner taken quickly by Liverpool? So it's Liverpool against Barcelona. So Barcelona win 4-0 at the Camp Nou.
4-0.
So they go back to Anfield.
Yeah.
And so Liverpool somehow just pull it out of the bag. It's 3-0, so it's 4-3. And then so they get a corner in like the 70th minute. And Barcelona's still setting up, and Liverpool take the corner.
And they score.
And the commentator's like, corner taken quickly, Origi! And it goes in the back of the net. And it's like, oh my God, where did that come from? And they end up to go through. That's the year that they beat Tottenham in the final. And that was one of the games that led them
I'm glad
to that.
they beat Tottenham. Not because I'm an Arsenal fan, but because like Liverpool deserved it.
Did they, though?
Specifically.
Did they, though?
Come on, no, hold on. This is during the time when...
Does Liverpool deserve anything?
This is during the time when, Man City is still, they're super dominant, so they didn't win the league. So they won the Champions League, and it was great.
But still. See, I would rather have had Tottenham. Not just because of... Although, speaking of Tottenham, that's another game that we can talk about. The Tottenham-Ajax game, that semi-final. Do you remember that one?
I don't think so.
So Ajax
I saw that.
Ajax had won in the first leg at... whatever Tottenham Stadium is called these days. I think it's just called the Tottenham Stadium, not White Hart Lane.
Oh, it's called...
is it London Stadium? No, that's West Ham.
No, it doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Yeah, wherever Tottenham plays their football. So they had to go to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And Lucas Moura, that's a blast from the past, scores a hat-trick. And literally, last kick of the game, it's like the 96th minute. He dribbles around like 2 or 3 Ajax players and kicks it, scuffs it, and it goes in the bottom corner.
He scored 4 goals that night?
He scored a hat-trick. But he scored the winning goal in like the 96th minute, and that took them to the I think this was still with away goals. Barely made it through. But both teams barely made it through. It was a very scrappy Champions League that year. I think it was still away goals, so I think it's 3-3 on aggregate, but they had the away goal advantage. I can't remember how it worked. It might have been that Ajax had won 2-0, and then they both scored on the night, and it was the away goals that made the difference. Can't remember. But yeah, it was
incredible.
Crazy. So, but yeah, I think Tottenham hadn't won a European trophy since 1963. Actually, I don't think they've won a trophy in general since 1963.
Yeah, they haven't.
Except for like one League Cup in like 1995.
Yeah, nobody cares about that.
Yeah. Unless you win it, then everyone cares about it. Yeah, so I think I would rather have had them because Liverpool have had their moment. And it's Liverpool. But, I always go for the underdog.
I
Unless
wanted
they're
him to
playing
win.
Manchester
You know
United,
why?
you know.
Because of Klopp. Because I like Klopp. I like him as a manager. I think he's done an incredible job at Liverpool.
Oh, he has.
Like the reason why Liverpool's even mentioned like
Oh,
it
100%.
is right now is because of him.
Oh,
if he
100%.
wasn't there, Liverpool I think would be like another team like Chelsea.
Yeah.
They're just kind of lost.
Yeah.
Like you know they're kind of like you don't know what's going on with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
But Liverpool is very
Signing
much
all
like a
kinds of random players.
Yeah.
For random amounts of money. Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah, I was happy for Klopp, but not for Liverpool.
So anyways, man,
Double that
let's wrap this up.
100%. We've been
so
all
yeah.
around the houses as per usual.
Yes, we're gonna be talking next time after the this weekend's
Yep.
games.
This weekend's games. Let's just have a quick poke through,
Yes,
see if there's any big games
please
coming
do
up.
because there definitely is.
I know United's playing Brighton.
I think there might be a game tomorrow.
Let's have a look. So there's no Premier League games tomorrow. However,
Okay.
it is the start of the Bundesliga, and Mönchengladbach against Leverkusen. That should be a good game.
Ooh,
So let's see, Saturday. So yeah, I've got to wake up at 4:30 on Saturday. Brighton's playing Manchester United.
at what time?
4:30.
A.M.
Yeah.
Come on, don't do it to yourself.
No, I have to. It must be done. Sacrifices must be made. As far as big games, Aston Villa versus Arsenal. That should be an interesting game.
That's gonna be an interesting one. Aston Villa finished 4th last season, so
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
Should be an even game.
Mm-hmm.
I would say. I don't think there's going to be too much difference. Yeah, there's not really any
Any big
slobber
ones, huh?
knocker games.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest game.
Manchester United is against who?
Brighton. So I mean that should be a good game
Brighton,
because
yeah.
Brighton are always a dangerous team.
I've always liked Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton's another one of those teams. It's like West Ham. You know,
Yeah.
I've got a bit of a soft spot for
Yeah,
them, you know?
same. Yeah, I
Like-
like West Ham. I like Brighton.
Yeah.
Brighton had they had a German player a while back.
Oh, is it Pascal Gross?
Yes, and I was like, dude,
Yeah.
he was great.
So did you see about him? So he transferred in the summer. And I was like, why
This-
on earth?
this summer?
This summer, yeah. I was
He
like, why
just-
on earth has he left? Because
Yeah.
he's 33.
Yeah,
And I was
he's
like,
been
why
there
wouldn't
forever.
he just stay at Brighton? It's because he went back to Dortmund. And he's from Dortmund.
Oh, yeah,
And
he's trying to retire
He
there
used to
probably.
be like on the Gelberwand with his dad.
Oh,
like
wow.
on the yellow wall.
Yeah.
So he's like die-hard Dortmund.
He's gonna
So
t-
even
yeah.
even Brighton put out a statement and they were like, how heartless would we be if we blocked this transfer?
Of course.
Like, we can't do this to him, so, best of luck.
You
we
know,
hope you
I
do
feel
well.
like Brighton and West Ham are kind of like if you were to get assorted through the hat from like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Like Brighton is like what's the main one?
Gryffindor?
Gryffindor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does
I
that
can
does
see
that,
that.
do you
I can
understand
see
what I'm saying?
that,
There's like a warmth
Yeah.
to it, you
Yeah.
know? And then like West Ham is like Hufflepuff or something
Yeah.
like that.
And then you've got like City, Liverpool, and
Yeah.
Chelsea are all Slytherin.
They're all Slytherin. Every single one of them,
Yeah.
dude. I'll put even Arsenal in there. They're
Yeah.
little
I'll put United in there because,
Yeah.
they're the team that people hate.
exactly
Yeah.
because they're they're the big ones
Yeah.
or whatever.
Whereas, like, you think of Bournemouth. It's like, well, I can't hate Bournemouth.
Yeah, you can't hate them. Come
Brighton.
on, come
Yeah.
on. They're Hufflepuff,
Yeah,
dude.
exactly. So there's no
And
huge
Leicester is
matches.
the biggest. By the way,
Oh,
Leicester, they got to be the biggest.
Leicester's Cedric Diggory. right
absolutely.
there. Leicester's Cedric Diggory.
Absolutely.
Those are the ones
Yeah.
that everyone wants to
Yeah,
succeed.
yeah.
Like, yeah, that 110%.
So, anyways, man, it's been a good chat. Go ahead.
No huge games, but next week
Yeah.
we're going to try, and obviously this depends on schedules, but Champions League and Europa League qualification.
Is
draws.
that on,
It's the draws on Thursday.
Wednesday? Oh, Thursday.
So we'll try and either do it Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about the football, talk about the upcoming fixtures. Hopefully there'll be some groups of
That's
death
gonna be a big
that
one.
we can talk about.
Yeah.
So yeah, that it's always a.
You want
day
to do a
on my
prediction
calendar.
real quick?
Oh, of like what the group of death is going to be.
Yeah.
I think that it's going to be. I think Aston Villa is going to end up being like Newcastle last year, where they end up in the group of death.
Which
And
is
it's gonna
bullshit.
be- yeah, it's always
It's so
bullshit,
rigged.
Yeah.
It's so rigged. Come
Yeah.
on.
And Newcastle almost got out of that group of death as well. They were very unlucky.
Yeah.
They only missed out because of Dortmund, and they ended up going to the final. So it's like you can't really hate on that. But I can see it being like it's going to go one of two ways. Either Aston Villa is going to be in the group of death, or it's going to be like we were saying earlier: Aston Villa, Girona, like Bologna, all
Right,
in the same
right.
group with
Yeah.
like Barcelona.
With Barcelona,
Like,
which is again rigged.
But I think it's going to be like Real Madrid, AC Milan, Bayern Munich, and Aston Villa.
Oh shit, dude, that's a fucking group of death. God
Right.
damn.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the most mental part about that is if Aston Villa wins at least one game.
Yeah, the good chance of going through.
I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
you like Unai Emery.
Yeah.
I don't like you.
Yeah.
Because what you did at Arsenal,
Yep.
you suck. But like you're doing a good job.
Yeah. When could you
at
imagine
Villa.
they like go and beat Bayern Munich because they've got the Harry Kane curse, and then they just shut up shop against AC Milan at Barcelona and get through?
Oh my god!
Like,
I mean, that'd be incredible.
So
I think my group of death would be let's see. I'm gonna say Inter Milan.
Okay.
Okay, with Man City,
Ooh.
and let's put in.
Well, that's a tasty fixture right there. That's the Champions
Yeah.
League finalists from last year.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. From
AC
last
Milan?
Year. No, Inter.
Oh,
and
sorry,
City.
sorry. Yeah, Inter and City. Yeah. I think those two. That'd be a really good match
be
because then,
tasty.
yeah, because
Yeah.
they want to have revenge.
Yeah.
So those two, and I would put PSG
Okay.
and Bologna, which
Yeah.
it's rigged, so Bologna has to be in there.
I don't know if Bologna can be in there because another Serie A team.
Oh shit, you're right.
Well, actually, no, that might not be true because there are some countries that have a lot of
put-
teams.
Oh,
So-
didn't Girona finish top 4?
Yeah.
Girona.
So put in a Corona. Yeah, I think that's a good shout. I like that.
So, anyways, that's the episode, guys.
Yep.
Thank
Have
you
a good
for
night.
yeah. Have a good night. Thank you for listening,
Absolutely.
and we'll speak to you guys soon.
Indeed. Enjoy
Yeah.
the weekend of football. We'll be back soon.
Yes.